Hiya, Bobby and Joe. This is Fomo the Clown. I'm gonna miss you guys in New York. I hope you guys have a great trip and you catch lots of big old fishies and eat tons of pool balls. Peace you. Okay, bye.
Guys, Bobby Roast Beef here. Jigs and friggin' Bigs, and Elmo the Clown can suck it. Oh my God. I listened to that voicemail before we hit the water. Jesus Christ, it did not work out at all. Elmo, I appreciate you. I love you. We have an amazing show, guys. Myself, we got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown? Calling it in this week. I've got Janelle, I've got Binya, I've got Nick DeShane in the house. You guys don't want to miss out on this amazing podcast that we have lined up for you. Great stuff. The slot limit turned around, but not without any drama. We have more shit to talk about there. Plus, we have this trip to discuss. Joe has some information about his experience this week as well. And he's getting ready for a giant tournament up at St. Lawrence River, and I'm going to be up there with him. This is going to be amazing, guys. Get ready. We got an FTG from everybody's favorite Ginger Chode, and we have a Just the Tip from the one and only Nick DeShane, a Canadian tip tonight for you guys. Buckle up, guys. We got more Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. We'll be back. Don't go too far. Fucking mess right now, and I feel like all of the fucking different substances that I put into my body over this weekend are starting to hit right at this moment right now. Yep. Joe, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Hi, Joe.
Our blood alcohol levels. That's what's up. That's what's. I'm not.
You know
lying.
what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's what those trips are made for.
You fucking goddamn right.
We got to keep warm some way.
Dude,
that's right. What
an amazing fucking journey. What an amazing trip. Now, have you been checking on Fishing Chaos at all this weekend to know? Because I want to dive right in and talk about this.
Yeah, no, dive into it. I haven't really had the opportunity to look into it, but let's. I'm itching. I'm itching to hear about it.
Dude, some shit went down.
Okay.
So we got up to 29 anglers this past weekend. And like, guys, in all seriousness, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody. We had a bunch of you entering in fish. It was absolutely amazing. Out of those 29 anglers, only 19 entered fish.
Yeah, I was one of the ones that was not present.
I was going to say
only
one of us we're in Janelle's bus recording this, by the way, Joe. I don't know if we made that clear to you. But
no.
There's only one person in this bus right now that has put fish on the fucking on the catch board this week, and it was Binya. He was the only one that fucking put fish. Yeah, you know what? He deserved
it. He was out there.
I'm not so sure I deserve it because I wasn't even that big a fish.
But Joe, there's fucking drama.
Okay.
So, I'll be honest with you. We had one and only Nelson DaCosta. It's been a while since we've talked about Nelson on the show. He chimed in on this tournament like the day before. I think he logged in. I was like, he's taking all our money. I don't know how many fish Nelson caught, but he didn't finish at the top. And we had a number of different anglers. A bunch of jig heads had entered. We had Matt Thayer from Klondike Custom Creations. We had everybody's favorite Ginger Chode. I'm choking on cigar smoke right now.
Are you
it's
okay?
Fucking terrible, dude. We had everybody's favorite Ginger Chode, Pat Martin, in on this tournament. We had everybody's like the I would say the underdog. Everybody was rooting for Brody.
Yes.
Like 2 days out, like the registers, and Brody was in on it. I thought he had it in the fucking bag, and then out of nowhere we had a gentleman named Ken who had signed up this week as we kind of led into the tournament and beat him. And I knew there was something funky about this by literally 0.28 inches. Now, what's really kind of interesting is that that's not a measurement that we're taking because it goes by quarter of the inch. You know what I mean? Quarter of inch. So it's like that's it. So 0.25 would have been fine. So I knew that there was something going on, but here's what's going on. I had a number of anglers that had competed saying, hey, you need to look at this dude's fish because there are duplicate entries, like straight up the same picture in there. And I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. Now, where I'm at, you've seen, we've been jumping through hoops trying to get this connected in order to do our, this episode. So I'm like, I can't really judge the fish right here. I'm not getting the images downloading, and like it's just a mess. So I'm like, later this week, I'll go ahead and do that. I got a message last night from this angler, Ken himself, and he straight up was like, listen, I'm of a particular age, and this is my first live tournament I've ever done. He's like, I entered fish multiple times. He's like, I didn't finish. And then I got a series of other messages. He's like, I don't know, I feel like some of these other fish are duplicates too. And then he pulled it back and he was like, look, there were like 4 that I had gone and had issues with. So I have to go and figure all this out and kind of determine it. I can't say who the winner is this episode is what I'm getting at. That's kind of the drama. I can't say who the winner is because it's so close, and now I have to nitpick every single picture to make sure that it's, and it's ultimately going to be my call. In fact, I got a message from Brody, and he was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I thought you couldn't enter fish after 4 o'clock. And I said, no. You can enter fish after 4 o'clock. You have until 5. That's the way I set it up, just in case you're fishing an area that doesn't have service, so you can get to service and be able to upload your fish. It sucks that, if like you wanted to fucking be a sandbagger, you can kind of get away with it. But at the end of the day, like if you choose a pond or any body of water that's that fucked up, this is how it's got to work. So, yeah, it's kind of fucking crazy. We were sitting around the campfire last night. As these messages were coming in, I'm like, guys, I've got more fucking hot fucking takes here.
Yeah, it was a long night at the campfire last night.
It was a long night at the campfire. It was a fucking real long night at the campfire.
So I want to say, though, either way, regardless of the final standings,
yep,
I want to commend, I've had him on the podcast, I've had conversations with the kid, a 12-year-old that competes in his first 2 tournaments and may or may not have won this one, at least placed in the money, most likely.
Oh, he definitely placed in the money. Like, I think the top 3, maybe even 4 places. Yeah, excellent job, Brody. That
Golf
kid
clap.
Fucking smoked it, dude.
And I had him on the podcast. He isn't just, like, his level of tech knowledge of the fish, like the details that he went into in my podcast, like, not trying to bring light to my podcast, but like the knowledge that he has at his age, he's going to be someone that is a contender when he gets older.
What did you say, Joe, about Brody? If he decides to do tournaments when he gets over, he's going to be a problem?
Yeah.
He's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
100%.
He already seems to be a problem.
So he's doing something like at his age of breaking down the technical and the scientific aspect of fishing that 99% of people do not do. It's something, I didn't figure out until I was in my 30s. He's doing it at 11, 12 years old.
Yep, it's insane.
Yep.
It's
mind-blowing.
Bananas.
Great work. Great work. Keep it going.
Good Lord. So, how was your week, Joe? You got back from St. Lawrence. And
yeah, so I got back from St. Lawrence when we talked. Dude, I haven't done anything fishy this week because, kind of geared up because I'm heading back out there this week, Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And, getting ready for the Fish or Die tournament. But, dude, I did nothing fishy this week besides just kind of reorder some stuff I needed to restock and kind of start to get ready in that aspect. Spent some time with the fam this weekend knowing that I'm not going to be around next weekend again. Actually, this is kind of a big one. We traded in the wife's bougie mobile.
What?
Oh.
Really?
Dude, so love that car. Fun as hell.
Sure. It's a Maserati, dude.
We had a fun summer with it. but it was just not practical for us. It was just too small. We just dumped it while we could. We traded it in, got her a mom vehicle. Not a mom vehicle. We got her a nice vehicle, but just something bigger and better.
Yeah.
And here's a caveat. This vehicle we got will pull my boat if I need it to.
Really?
So, yeah. So if we want to do a family trip, I want to bring the boat, we can do so. So we got a Jeep Wagoneer.
Oh, dude, those are fucking kind of sexy.
Wagoneer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the big one, the big Jeep, yeah. So
That's literally my wife's dream car. Like, so that's a good upgrade. It's kind of an upgrade for what you need it for.
We didn't want the Maserati.
Really is, to be honest.
The Wagoneer.
Yeah.
It's a cool car. So we went in yesterday just because it's a friend of mine who we go through, who I bought my truck through. And we kind of just went there and, just to kind of look at one he sent me, because I reached out to him. I was like, all right, dude, what do you got? He's like, all right, here's what I got. I asked Meg. She's like, yeah. She's like, we got to get rid of this thing. She's like, I love it, but we got to get rid of it. And I was like, cool, do you want to go look at this? And she's like, yep, let's go look at it. We went yesterday, early afternoon, and ended up bringing it home last night, or yesterday afternoon. So
no shit.
Quick turn, but yeah. So I've never. That's the first time I bought a vehicle in one day, and traded it, went there, traded it in, and actually got out of it the same day. I think that was the first time that's ever happened.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we got that, and that was probably the biggest thing I did this weekend. Today was, I don't know, how's the weather where you guys are?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, buddy.
Arctic?
So the weather here today has been absolute hot dog shit. It's cold. It's been pouring all day.
Yep.
So I'm hoping it's not like that there.
Oh
no.
Oh, it is.
That's exactly what we're dealing with
Ding,
here.
ding, ding.
I think the temps right now, last I checked, we've been in the 40s all day. It's been so shitty.
Yeah.
We're at what, 44 right now? It's going to only get down to 41 overnight. And we've had rain constantly since 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a lovely little rain.
That's shitty. That is shitty.
So you guys, since I didn't have anything, I want to live Cayuga through you guys' eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it. How was the fishing? How was it? How's Cayuga? I want to hear it.
You haven't told him anything?
I haven't, no, because I wanted this to be raw and real. So we break down blow by blow in the segment coming up, because we recorded a segment beforehand.
Bobby and I don't pregame it very often.
No, we don't. Dude, I got to tell you. So you remember I told you I was feeling confident about a few spots that I had in mind, and there was one specifically I was looking for. So Friday we pre-fished, took the boat out. It was Nick, Janelle, and myself. We got out there, and so I've never experienced a lock before in my life, having to pull in and wait for them to adjust the water levels and then go through. So the trip down that I thought was going to be super quick and easy, it took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, because waiting for the locks to fill and allowing you through, and then of course you're bullshitting with the guys that are operating it and stuff. I mean, it happens.
Or they're just rude about it.
Yeah, that was a whole thing on Saturday. So we fished on Friday, and where I thought we were going to find fish, dude, we all caught fish. Janelle caught fish, Nick caught fish, I caught fish. These were on different presentations entirely. You guys mind if I blow up what we were throwing?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so
not blowing anything
Janelle was throwing a fucking 3/16 ounce inline spinner. Right?
Yep.
In Fire Tiger.
Okay.
Nick was throwing around a
old school.
Yep.
Yeah, because I couldn't get anything to bite on nothing else, so I was like, all right.
And in the river, she got a pike and a largemouth on that as well. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, that's 2 fish. I'm like, that might be a pattern. Who the fuck knows? Nick had hooked into. You got a couple, didn't you, Nick?
I picked up 2. I was throwing the flashy Northern Forage series spinnerbait
from Martin's.
Martin's, and it was like a white with a lot of silver flash.
Yep.
Big Joshy.
And I was throwing a white pearl super fluke, weightless, and we all caught fish. all caught fish. I'm like, holy fuck, this is great. They're here. And I knew that the forecast coming in was going to be fucked up. I didn't know how bad it was going to fuck up that lake.
Yeah.
So, long story short, we, the locks don't open until 8 a.m., which is lines in, which means we're going to get a late start no matter what. So I just stomached that, dealt with it, whatever. Janelle and I, we left our launch at 7:30, and we made it down 10 minutes before 8. And we fished over by that no, actually, what am I talking about? We sat there and we made fucking phone calls at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Until we finally got somebody on the phone. This was like about maybe 10 after. We finally got somebody on the phone, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm filling the lock. I can only fucking fill it as fast as I can. And I'm like, well, that's great, man. But, like, I called at fucking 7 after, and nobody answered.
I can confirm because I heard the phone call.
Yeah, you heard the fucking
main
horns
lake.
ring. So we get through finally the second lock, and then we get to the spot, and we were, conditions actually seemed okay. I was like, we got some shimmer on the water, we got plenty of chop, but nothing like crazy. Dude, it turned so fast. Like, remember you were telling me about Ontario and how you want to stay out of there because it was fucking insane, and like, yeah, it was like, it felt like that. It felt like that. The way the wind was just gusting like crazy. And it felt like it was...
Like maybe you just shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when there were no fish biting. And that's the thing. I couldn't find them on anything. Nope. So I planned to junk fish. I planned to be changing up and be as versatile as possible. We ended up going back up into the river. I ultimately only ended up catching 2 and like within the last 2 hours of the tournament. Neither one of them fucking met the minimum for 12 inches, dude. There were micros all day. I caught a 3-inch largemouth and a 4-inch largemouth. Nothing. And then later that night, after we had, we did that Saturday night, we're like, oh, we'll do them nice and easy. We'll do fucking burgers and dogs. We'll just fucking hang out by the fire and whatever. We decided to bank fish for a little while because we saw all these shad busting on the surface. I caught 1 6-inch largemouth. It was so fucking bad. And I mean, thank God I had my BFS gear because it's the only thing that they fucking wanted. We went out this morning, and I managed to put one in the boat that would have hit the slot probably at like 12, if not 12 and a quarter.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was like the best fish I caught today or this weekend. And I'm like, all right, there we go. You're 24 hours too late, you fucking piece of shit. But here we are.
It hurt the heart. It really did.
So my idea for next weekend up at St. Lawrence, instead of just going up and doing the event or the awards at the end, I think I'm going to try to make it work so I can get a little bit of redemption. I'm going to try my best to get up there with enough time to fish.
To be fair, I mean, you need a 14-inch fish, and you've beat your record for the weekend.
Fucking A, that's all I need. That's all I need. I could probably get a 14-inch smallie up there. Yep. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you absolutely can. And like, the good thing about up there is, well, for one, Nick, I like that you said you were catching them on the big Joshies, because that's all Jeremiah was catching them up on the St. Lawrence River last weekend. And it was sounds like it was the same color.
I'd look into rocking a drop shot with some kind of leech presentation as well up there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can for sure see that. I can for sure see that. In fact, I've got some, and I threw some down here, but that didn't work out at all.
I threw everything. There wasn't a thing I didn't throw.
Janelle literally threw fucking the kitchen sink.
I did.
God, dude, it was brutal. And there were so many anglers in the tournament that just entered one fish. And then we had a couple at the end that were like fucking 80, 90 inches, 100 plus, 100, was it 170?
Jeez.
While he's looking that up, I will say, Joe, you'll be proud to know that most of the fish I caught were on fish or die baits on Friday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? So
what were you using?
What is their, and I've been struggling with this all weekend. What's the craw that they have? What's that called?
Patriot.
Okay. No, the other one. It's, they have a smaller one. It's got 4 legs.
I'll look it up.
That should be that should be the Patriot.
There's the Patriot, and then they have
looks like an actual craw.
So they have another one that has like 4 appendages. It's got 2 kicker claws and then 2 side claws.
Patriot.
Huh. Yeah, that's the oh geez, now I'm drawing a blank. Oh my gosh.
See what I mean?
Are you talking about the howitzer?
Yes, howitzer. So I had that one, and it was like in the purple. I don't know if it's a June bug, but it's like a June bug like color.
You call that a crawl?
I was throwing it as a Texas. I was actually throwing it as a free
Are you
rig.
talking about the?
That don't look.
So
right.
you're talking the big, like the big bait, the howitzer. The howitzer's like the big one.
Yeah,
No, this
it's
one's
not
small.
that. Bob, you
That's
got to
a
go to
smaller
page
bait.
2.
Is it the Sherman, maybe?
Sherman, that's what it was. Okay, sorry.
Sherman
Yes,
Williams.
sure.
Oh,
it was
okay. So it's a
yeah.
beaver. With
So it's
the,
more of like a beaver with
Okay.
like multiple
There's
appendages.
4 and 3 inch available. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
probably.
So it was
what
a
is.
3-inch
Yeah.
Sherman,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was in
That's an
like the
interesting
more
looking
purple
bait.
color. So I actually ordered 2 of the Ajax, and he threw in some extra baits because he was on the podcast, and that was the most consistent bait I had all weekend. Was that Fisher Dye bait, which I was really impressed with.
That's awesome.
Was it that June bug red, that Philadelphia?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny
The what?
because purple was my color. Like even my worms that I caught fish on, everything I caught on was purple. But that like a perfect example of everybody caught on a different color, a different type of present. There
yeah.
was
It made
no
it frustrating
pattern at
though.
all.
That was I caught mine on rooster tails.
Yeah.
That was it.
Fire tiger.
Fire tiger rooster
Yeah.
tail. It's like the classic of the class.
And all my fish were caught on either perch or white.
They didn't want white.
Yeah.
They wanted nothing white that I threw.
They didn't want white, but all the locals, because I certainly was paying attention,
Right.
everyone at least had something white tied on,
That's why they
Yeah.
didn't want white.
right?
That could be.
They've seen it
Yeah.
every day of their life.
Yeah, it was, dude, it was something else.
It was, yeah. I don't know words. It was a rough one. It was rough.
Dude, it's tough when you guys like we're in that weird we should be in that fall transition, you know, because of like the weather and everything. Like everything's kind of been put on hold or like prolonged. Like even like when I was up at the St. Lawrence, like the water was still way too warm for them to hit that fall transition. Thank God it sounds like they'll be in it next week, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just between weather, that unpredictable fall weather that you guys are in, especially where you're at with that big lake. No matter what, you're taking a gamble when you go. And,
It's true.
you know, as long as you guys had a great time being amongst each other, like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
That you nailed it right there. Like Janelle was even like, she's like, yeah, the fishing is like secondary, and I was like, oh, absolutely. And we talked about it, and you'll hear it in the follow up when we do our little sit down, just kind of reviewing everything, where the interview segment would be. We talk about how like, hey, I think the next time we plan one of these trips, and there's 100% going to be more of these trips.
Absolutely.
That maybe aligning them away from one of our fucking nationwide tournaments might be a good idea. That might be.
Yeah.
That might take some of the fucking pressure off of those fishing outings and just make them a little bit more fun. Because I know I for sure would have had more like B-roll, you know.
Oh yeah.
100%. But
I don't think I could have
some of the shit I record is
you know
cool.
why? The other thing about you telling me you're thinking about redeeming yourself and going up to St. Lawrence so you can actually fish. I don't know if you've noticed, but they're catching some big muskie in there right now.
Yeah.
Shut up. I want one so
Huge
bad. I want
muskie.
one
Come
so bad.
Come up.
When is it?
Yeah.
Next weekend.
What's the date?
What is next weekend? Let's fucking look at it.
6 days from
Don't. I
the
didn't ask the
tournament's on
math.
the 19th.
Yep, the tournament's on the 19th.
My teeth are coming out on
Yeah.
Monday.
You'll
Your
be fine
teeth are
by
coming out on Monday? Okay, so you
Yeah.
can get back for Sunday.
Yeah, you think that? I'm a slow roller.
Yeah, I know. I have opinions on that too. But
Oh,
I do.
okay.
I do.
Let's
I
hear
do.
those.
Do you really want me to air those opinions on the show?
Why not?
So we had a conversation a while ago about traveling, and you have to understand, Joe, this bus that we're sitting in is fucking amazing. Like, there are 4 people, one of them being my size, around this dining room table, like having a conversation recording this podcast.
Yeah, Nick can stand up, no
Nick is
problem.
standing up at the table, and I don't know why he's removing his clothes, but he is. And there's so much room in here. It is ridiculous. You know, Janelle cuts herself off driving 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, sure.
I can do that.
Yeah.
3?
How much of a rest do you take in between?
15 minutes, maybe.
No. Didn't you say you travel for fucking 3 hours and then you fucking set up for the night and then go the next day?
This is the second trip with this bus.
I'm backing up to a conversation
about bridges.
Ask
her about bridges.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm talking about a conversation we have. Remember when you came up to the New England Fishing Expo and you were like, yeah, 3 hours at one time is about as much as I can do. 15 minutes, that's a fucking stop on the way. But I think,
okay. I fall asleep very easily, in a moving vehicle.
Fair enough.
I always have.
Yeah.
When we take family trips, I'm the sleeper. So once I get to a certain point of tiredness and the rhythm of the driving kicks in, my head's doing a little up and down, and that's not effing safe. So
no, of course,
I wouldn't risk that.
No.
Second of all, I haven't really taken many far driving trips where I'm the driver, but with the bus especially, I'm cautious of it and all of its everythings. So these two are being ridiculous. I'm cautious. 3 hours is good. I take a little break. I reconfigure, regather myself.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I think you are.
I got the impression that you were like, I drive for 3 hours, I pull over, I camp until the next day, and then I fucking go. Because I'm like, you're going to be on the road for a good chunk of fucking time. It's going to take you ever to get anywhere 3 hours at a time. But okay, if you're saying you're essentially taking a bathroom break and a fucking wake up break or whatever, and grabbing a coffee or grabbing a fucking energy drink, doing a bump of Coke, whatever it is, if you're out there doing your thing, I get that. That I get.
We also
my take on it was that you're gonna learn.
I'm gonna learn.
You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I drove fucking 15 hours today.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There will be those days.
Yeah, 100%.
There will be.
Yeah, for some
and you're
going to
be the one I'm on the phone with for about 10 of those hours.
You've
and Mike.
been on the phone with me when I've been in the middle of the night on a 15-hour drive back from fucking down south. Yeah.
Love it.
You got to do what you got to do.
Buckle up.
You and my oldest daughter have been my fucking lifeline on the way back. I'm like, how
that's
you
lovely.
doing? I need a fucking crisp Diet Coke. God damn it.
I'm very green to being the driver on long long trips. So there's an adjustment period.
Well, you have the makings of an amazing journey.
Absolutely.
Right in front of you with this.
Mm-hmm. Buckle up.
Nick, this fucking bourbon.
It's good.
It hit Mikey over here. He's a little woo.
You're doing it the right way, though, right? Before you know it, you'll want bigger fuel tanks because you're pissed off that you have to even stop for fuel.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's much better to play it safe and just roll with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I have fallen asleep at the wheel.
I have.
While I've been driving
terrifying.
home I've woken up in a cornfield and been like, what the actual fuck has happened here? And it's fucking disturbing. To the point where because I worked third shift for a good chunk of my 20s, and I would stop on the drive home. It took me 45 minutes to get from work to my house, and I would stop on the drive home and take a fucking 20-minute power nap and then fucking drive the rest of the way because I am terrible with my time. I'll take that 100%.
God.
That is my bad. I thought you were like, I'm driving for 3 hours. I'm setting up camp. I'm fucking making,
No.
It would take you forever.
I wouldn't get anywhere in life.
No. You'd be like, I travel all around the tri-state area.
So looping back on that bourbon, and I don't know if you saw me and Janelle break out into laughter.
Yes.
I just tried to open an open beer.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, wow.
I grabbed a twist top beer and sat there for 5 minutes trying to open the freaking beer that was already half drank because I was so drunk from the bourbon that I tried to open the beer a second time.
Do you see what you're missing out on, Joe?
You are,
Do you
Joe.
see what you're missing out on?
Nick has more.
Nick's like, yeah, dude, you want some more bourbon?
Nick, I don't want him sleeping in here with me tonight. He's got his own sleeping quarters.
That's awesome.
And Bobby looked at us too, and he was trying to figure out why we were laughing.
Yeah.
Next trip, Joe.
Joe, I'm excited for you to be here too. If we get along just as much as me and Nick get along, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, something tells me you and Joe will be like fucking.
We're gonna be the Three
peanut butter and
Stooges.
jelly.
My daughter still talks about Nick from Columbus.
Oh, he's great.
Dude, Nick is the best. Nick said some shit in French, and Janelle was like, "What the fuck just happened here?" There were feelings. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, damn, Nick, I don't like men, but do that again.
I gotta tell you, I think we need to do a fucking Canadian send, Joe.
Is there ginger ale up here? It's in the sink. Oh,
I think that.
Goodness.
Yeah,
I would be in for that.
I think that could be fucking amazing. Two derelict
Let me
fucking
just make
Americans.
sure I don't have any warrants or anything first.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If we were to arrange a trip, I would love to do, and Bobby and I touched on it a little bit, but like rent out one of these ice castles, right? Something that's all rigged up. The inside looks like a spaceship. We can watch football. We can watch hockey. You know, we'll get Uber right to the ramp. It'll just a really chill ice fishing experience like that, right?
And just fucking cook.
Right.
Just fucking. And I'm not talking about cooking meth. I'm talking about cooking like.
Well, we have a bus.
Amazing.
All kinds of food. You know, we'll set
I just started
tip
Breaking
ups
Bad.
for world record. You know, record pike or PB pike, and then we'll just jig up perch. It'll be great.
It'll be fucking amazing.
I'm
Perch,
ready.
potatoes, and eggs. It'll be fucking so good, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, now I'm thinking about that chili.
It'll be
I'm
wicked
hungry.
great, Joe.
It'll be wicked awesome. Wicked cool.
Let's talk about that chili for a second.
Ooh.
Right now, Joe.
What isn't in that chili?
Before I called for this show, this episode, I had to run outside to stir the chili. Now, this is what's in the chili. We have beef short ribs. We have ground chorizo sausage. And we have ground venison in the chili.
No fucking way. Did
What?
that just happen?
What's the line from that movie Waiting? You can't mix Mexican with continental.
That's exactly it. Fucking A.
Joe, fun fact.
It's out. Absolutely.
Joe, fun fact. The entire campground just lost power.
Yeah.
The whole grid, my whole bus just went black.
I have enough battery. I have a full battery right now.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah, that is good. And my hotspot also has full battery.
Dude.
Is everything fucking done?
It's black, right? Outside? It's completely...
Yeah, the only lights that are on appear to be those powered by solar.
Oh,
well,
no shit.
I was powered by solar, but I plugged in.
Yeah, there's
of course.
like a couple landscaping lights on out there.
There's
and
no
a
need to
battery
rush
straight
as
light.
far as the podcast is
Okay,
concerned.
I didn't know if
Like,
you wanted a light or anything.
we have a little bit of time. I will give a heads up when the fucking shit's going to hit the fan.
Par for the course, though.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Much like the
I have a
fishing.
marine battery.
No, you're good. We don't need it. The ambiance in here.
My lithium battery is also dead because I got too drunk and left it on last night.
Jeez.
Wah, wah.
Louise.
This rain has sucked, Joe. Let's just be honest.
It really
Okay, I went outside to go pee. and it's all dark in here. I'm kind of scared.
If it's anything like it was
fine.
here, I that sucks.
Yeah, it's been rough. It started about 3 a.m. I got up this morning and there was a little break in the rain, and then as I was making coffee and getting things together, it was just kind of going to shit. But we're making the best of it. We're making the best of it. We're fucking
Simply the
creating the
best.
shit out of memories. Here is what we're doing.
All the rest.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
This mood lighting is great.
And we're herding cats up here. Is what's happening.
gosh.
That's fucking wild, Joe. What are the odds that you have some headlines for tonight?
I do not have headlines tonight. We're
No
going to have
worries.
to revisit that next week. Only because we're on a call. I don't have my computer in front of me.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough, man. We have a couple of things coming up, though, down the road. We have Nick actually is going to submit a Just the Tip this week for a very specific sort of setting for fishing that I'm interested in for sure. We have an FTG that came out of the tournament, or what was it? Out of the tournament yesterday.
Yes, sir.
A couple of our anglers were out on the water and experienced some shit that was fucking straight up bullshit. And I feel like we also have a broke on the boat. I might have to work on that a little bit. I know that Pat had submitted something for broke on the boat, so we might have to actually be hearing from Pat twice in this episode. Is there anything that you guys want to cover before we get into all that good stuff? Nick is good. How about you, Janelle?
No, I'm good.
She's good. How about you, Binya? Anything you want to kind of cover that we haven't?
I just got told I can't have any more bourbon.
Mom said no.
I picked it up and got my hand slapped. This is some bullshit.
It is some bullshit.
We have a long night to go.
We do.
Fair enough.
We do. Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so why don't we do this, Joe? Why don't we shift gears and we'll jump into our Just the Tip segment after a quick break. How's that sound?
Do it.
I fucking love it. We'll see you guys in a bit. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the impeccable taste in fishing podcasts. Bobby Roast Beef here with a little call to action for all Jigs and Bigs listeners. We're opening up our hotline to you. Now you can call us to sound off about almost anything at 413-324-8519. Want to submit someone for our FTG segment? Call us at 413-324-8519. Care to maybe suggest a topic for Just the Tip or Bait of the Week? Call us at 413-324-8519. Maybe you just want to give us or anyone else a little shout out on the show, or you want to suggest a guest for the beef seat. You guessed it. Call us at 413-324-8519. The Jigs and Bigs hotline is there for you to leave a message with us 24/7. Just call 413-324-8519. Also, you can check that number in the notes of this podcast. Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form podcast content. We need to thank Dark Horse Tackle, Omnia Fishing, A-Bay Lure, The Bay House, and The Ship Motel. We can't forget about Three Bells Outfitters, Torres Sunglasses, and of course, Reaction Tackle. Be sure to check the description of this podcast for any associated affiliate links or promo codes they've generously provided our listening audience. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys, here we are. It's time for Just the Frickin' Tip. We got Nick DeShane here with us. We were talking around the campfire last night about, I said, do you guys have anything you want to talk about? You know, anything interesting for either Just the Tip or, I was like, we got an FTG, you know, anything specific you guys want to discuss? And Nick brought up this very, very particular situation. Nick, why don't you go ahead and explain?
Right. So my area is very heavily rooted in industry. And as a result, we have a lot of break walls, but the steel kind of corrugated break walls, right? And canals that are built out of these. Mm-hmm. And I have found that oftentimes if I were to switch to a silent version of a lure, I get hit more often.
Uh-huh.
And in thinking about this, like, I believe that there are enough flat metal sides that it's, if you were to imagine the sound waves, they they reverberate back at such a uniform angle that it creates hot spots of sound within the water itself.
Yeah.
And it's especially in canals where either side of the canal is built out of this, right?
Gotcha.
So it's almost like if you could imagine, well, Joe, like a radar, right? You're almost getting hot spots and blips on your radar that the fish are picking up as either like a school of bait fish or, just anomalies, right? Because it's different than, say, a wall of riprap where, yeah, sure, it's all hard, flat sides, but it's at different angles.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's going to bounce back. Like, it's going to be a whole separate ball game.
Right. Whereas, like, these sound waves would interact with each other where the crest of the waves pile up on each other and create, a big signal. Yeah. So that would be my tip, is just try to throw, especially if you're in an area where it's like they should be biting, like what's going on, throw a silent one out, see what happens. And I find that oftentimes that's the trick.
You'll get bit. No shit.
Right.
It's one of those small details, I think, that a lot of people would overlook. Like, Joe, have you ever encountered anything similar like this?
Not so much here. Everything here that I've noticed, has just been all concrete. I haven't, I'm thinking about it, and I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yep.
But I'm trying to think of a situation where I've come in contact with that, and I cannot.
It's interesting because, especially, right when you made that comparison to riprap, I think that says so much. Because when you think those corrugated, you're talking about those panels where it's like a bunch of right angles.
Well, it's a right angle and then almost like a 45 or a 30 degree, right? So they're maybe a foot wide, foot and a half wide, and they could be at any length.
Yep.
And then they almost just strip them together and hammer them in together, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and even the difference between a concrete wall would be completely all flat, and it would fan that sound out.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm dealing with, a 30 and then I don't know if you would call it a 90 or a 180.
Yep.
But say, okay, so a 30, a 180, a 30, a 180, right? So it would bounce that signal quite differently.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
My mind kind of blew a little bit when you said that the other night. I was like, wow, yeah, because it's something I didn't even... Not even in my ether of thoughts.
Right.
But you have that's what it's all about. You have a pattern, you know, versus something like riprap or even really even like Joe said, like concrete, where you've just got a flat fucking surface. So the sound is going to reverberate off of that in a uniform sort of pattern. But in something where it varies that much, that's going to make things fucked up.
You got to think about something. So Berkeley took time to design a new bladed jig, and they're part of their design, because I talked to Rod about it a little bit, is the frequency.
Yeah.
So if you have a different sound bouncing off of that wall, it even could change the frequency, and it could create a lot of different things. Because I've heard, I don't know if you've ever, and this is going to sound really stupid, but have you ever actually heard a bladed jig in the water?
Yes.
I've been out there on calm days, stupid calm, where there was no wind, no sound. You hear that thing coming back to the kayak.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's got to be bouncing off of that type of surface.
There are a few videos, and I wish I could think of the one specific creator that does some of this stuff that is absolutely out of this world. Where, I'm talking underwater footage, looking at comparing different baits. I can't think. I'm going to scroll through YouTube right now and hopefully stumble across something from them. But it's one of these things where he compared different bladed jigs, and they do operate at different frequencies and change things up. But I think when you factor in something silent, it's a total mind fuck.
Well, it's a matter too. I think they're almost picking up more on the vibration of the lure itself rather than the sound it's giving off. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it almost simplifies it for them.
We all can't talk tonight.
Oh,
right?
This bourbon's so good.
It's so fucking
I haven't
good.
had any bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's fucking kind of nuts. You know what I was thinking about making a joke. I'm like, you know what somebody should do? They should release a silent bladed jig. There you go. And it would be a swim jig.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice job, Bobby. You just created a lore that has been in existence for a very long time.
You know, I think that's. But if you market it the same way, they're like, get your, silent bladed jig. If you sick and tired, you try throwing the big blade, or you try throwing the stealth blade, you get yourself the fucking silent blade, the fucking
invisible.
Well, I'll be honest.
Zero blade. Is what it would be called.
Let's be fair.
Zero bladed jig.
If you throw FFS silent bladed jig, you'll sell 1 million of them.
That's what I'm saying.
We're
doing it, Joe. We're doing it. It's happening. We're gonna fucking do it. And the target species is gonna be brook trout. That's what we're gonna do. I think that's the fucking job. God damn. Fucking invent some shit. That's it. That's a good tip. Because I think there's a lot of people who like, and I think that Joe and myself and like other listeners of the show that maybe don't run into these situations now, if they find themselves fishing a body of water that has those types of steel walls, now they've got something they can be like, you know what, maybe I should at least try this.
There's a lot of those walls because I fished at least 8 states, and I've seen those walls on every one of those states.
How many times have like people been fishing in an industrial area in the fucking Rust Belt, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's right, this makes sense." Or maybe you just never even noticed it, but now it's like,
now I'm gonna notice it.
It's gonna make you think about it for sure. It's definitely something to consider.
It's just another thing in your tool belt of. Yeah, the challenge of fishing.
So if you're ever fishing, Zug Island, south of Detroit, you know what to do.
I know exactly what to do.
You don't have to worry about that hum from the forge.
Yeah. I'm not fucking worried. Let's get ready. This is an interesting one. It's an FTG that comes from just this last fucking tournament, the slot limit tournament.
Hey, Bobby and boys. It's the Southern Rhode Island Swampers here. Pat Martin and Matt there. Driving back from the fishing the slot tournament today and just calling it an FTG. When we went to load the boat in, I sent you a picture of it, by the way, but there was a middle-aged couple that decided the boat ramp was a dog park swimming hole. And they had their car parked kind of perpendicular to the 3 trailers, including Matt's, that was parked there. And so the guy didn't even attempt to, move the car and just had Matt back the trailer around it. And I know you guys are all dog people and stuff, and nothing against dogs, but I hate it when fucking people use the boat ramp as a dog park, especially when you're loading a boat. And especially when they don't move the car out of the way of the trailer that's trying to fucking back it down the ramp. So anyway, that's our FTG. Great time fishing the slot tournament today. You guys have a great week. Later.
I will tell you, as a dog guy, fuck those people.
Now listen, I love dogs, but I hate a stupid bitch.
It's dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I have had this exact same experience, and the other experience that I've had is not the cars parked across, but why do people feel like they need to throw the fetch toys into the water at the ramp? I've literally had to wait to unload my boat or kayak because
worst.
Somebody's throwing a toy into the water at the ramp. And now I have to decide whether or not I want to chop this dog into pieces with my boat motor or wait for them to fetch it. And then they look at me like I'm the asshole because I'm waiting for them to put my boat on the boat ramp.
Yep.
No, it's just a beautiful slip.
And don't get me wrong, I have a dog. I'm a dog guy, but stop using boat ramps as dog parks. I agree.
So, I know Joe's a dog guy. I'm a dog guy.
I'm a dog girl.
I'm gonna just fucking throw something out there that I've, Sean the Fisherman has mentioned on this show. I'm sorry you were using the boat launch as your fishing pier / dog park / whatever. This is a fucking boat ramp.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
It's in the name there.
Yeah. Like, that should be a giant fucking clue. And I know people are generally really dumb.
No, really?
The difference is that anglers will throw a dead goose back into the water for dog people so that their retriever can swim and get the goose.
Yeah.
And dog people, think that they own the fishing boat ramp.
Yeah. What about what's your take on this, Joe? And I remember you recently had a situation with dogs and fishing a pad fucking field.
So I'll be 100% honest. I couldn't hear it from my end, but I'm getting the cliff notes from what you guys are talking about.
Yep.
So yeah, like you said, I had the instance where, my wife and I were in the boat and I was fishing a set of pads where I just caught a 4+ pounder.
Yep.
And on a frog, getting ready to go and fish more of it, and then the guy starts throwing the stick right in the middle of the pads I'm fishing.
Dumbasses.
Yeah, dude. So it's like you're always gonna have the boat ramp mafia, the guys who just don't understand. And the problem is all these people are people that don't have boats. They don't use it. They don't or never have used that resource for what it's intended or what it's meant to be for.
Yep.
So, so they're just so far removed from it that they don't think that they're doing anything wrong or don't understand what they are doing wrong, if anything. So they just need to be educated, I guess.
I think you're right.
Kind of an asshole way.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, dude. I think that's what it gets down to is people, they just, because they get, I want to say honestly, they get a little fucking comfortable. I think that's the best way to word it. They get a little bit comfortable with like that resource and then ignoring what its intention was, and that's why, like, when you ask people, you're just like, hey, man, do you mind if I launch my fucking boat on the boat launch? They kind of...
Yeah.
I think they get a little comfortable with ignorance, but intentional ignorance. Because it's not a mistake that you like, you see the person pull up with the boat, and you're like, oh, my bad, like, I'm sorry, let me remove myself.
Yeah.
They're putting up shop deliberately in a place where they shouldn't be putting up shop in that scenario for that situation.
It's like it's the best way that I can word this. It's like because they got away with it X amount of times, they feel like they're able to get away with it forever.
Or they feel like because they were there first.
Yeah, exactly.
They own it. It's their space. Go get your own.
In this situation, it also depends very much on, how much forewarning did the toy thrower have that the kayaker was approaching the ramp. Did they come around a bend?
Right.
And all of a sudden he shows up and he's trying to get out?
Yeah.
Or has he been
point.
crossing a 10-mile lake and you could see him, for 25 minutes?
He was clearly on his way there type situation.
I'll make myself know. I'll say hi, like, if I'm approaching anybody at the bank, whatever I'm coming up to, I'm gonna be like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. Especially if you have a dog.
Shitting in the fucking boat ramp, like as people are fucking trying to do other activities, I'm just gonna paddle on up or motor on by and just like hang my derriere over the side of my boat and leave them a little fucking warm pile.
We set up a booth at fishing launches and we just start educating every fucking buddy in the most embarrassing way that you possibly could.
I love that idea because there is a niche
like a TV show
of YouTube channel where there are, and I've seen this before on TikTok and stuff, where people will set up, like, get all their friends together, and as like some jabroni is like backing their boat down the ramp and can't do it, they scorecards or rounds of applause, commentary,
soundboard.
Like, dude,
let's do that. Would be so much fun. I'll go on tour with all of you right now. Let's go.
So this is completely off the topic of the FTG, but so just to give you an example, there's a ramp that I was at one day, and I put my boat on the dock, and I was getting ready to load it, and this skeeter came in, and Joe can attest for how much a skeeter cost. This guy pulled into the ramp, and the skeeter was literally the gunnel of this boat was sitting on the bunk, and his kid had drove it all the way home like that because he didn't know how to load a boat, and he looked at me with the biggest eyes that he's ever seen because he was in so much panic that he even made it back to the boat ramp with his boat. And I'm like, dude, my boat costs like $8,000.
Yep.
I'm gonna get the hell out of your way so you can put that thing back on the trailer the way it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
And this is just a little Vermont boat ramp instance. Like, there is literally boat ramps that I will say there was a specific, and I don't know if I can even say this without getting demonetized, but there was a specific virus that happened that created this entire group of people that did not understand how to load a boat, how to back a boat.
Yeah, of course.
And it is
Absolute noobs.
amazing
We've had that conversation.
to see so much stuff. But the dog thing, kind of circling back to that, like, I don't understand why in most boat ramps there's literally a place that you could take a dog that doesn't involve you having to be in the way of people with boats.
We're talking about the dog. Okay.
That dog did nothing wrong.
There was no, definitely not. But there's more to it.
Okay.
Because Pat he even said in there that he had sent a picture.
All right.
The real issue, I think, more than anything, is when these people arrive, it's the parking. Now, Matt's got the pickup truck in this picture, and Joe, I can't send this to you, unfortunately. I will actually afterwards. I'm going to text it to you and fucking send it to you so you can get your opinion. But I'll show it to everybody here. That white little SUV right there is the dog owner. The boat launch is right over here. Look at that.
I was going to say, like, the parking from the sounds of it was a douche move.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
An absolute douche move.
They're like teeing off, like in the middle of. There's no way for him to get to his truck to maneuver at all.
Yeah, it's just an absolute shit show the entire way around. Joe, I'm texting you this image right now.
I grew up fortunate enough to have the parents that I have that taught me to just try to think about your actions and what could possibly happen in a scenario. You pull up to a boat ramp, there's one car in the parking lot, but you don't see anybody around. Okay, cool. But why the F would you park where the hell you parked? Like, I can hear my dad in the back of my head being like, but what if they're pulling up around the bend? Whatever. You, like, don't park there.
So I will, on the way home from work, very often pull up to the ramp, and I park in the hashed off, no parking area. I block the entrance to the bathrooms and everything else. But it's also 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm within eyeshot of my truck. And should anyone pull up,
you're running over.
9 times out of 10, it's going to be the cops anyway, because why is this truck down here? Right?
For sure.
It's pretty sketch. And otherwise, I can be there to move it, no problem, whatever. Right? But, like, to pull up like that, you can obviously see she arguably intentionally blocked 3 people.
Easily.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Easily.
Can we just put a little bit more thought and care into our actions?
Maybe. Oh, God, that would be
Why
amazing.
is it that difficult?
That's asking a lot.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
No.
How about a minimal amount of effort into
common
just
sense?
Staying out of somebody's way? Like, let's put just like a level 1 effort into that.
Yeah, anything.
Right?
Just acknowledge that, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. If everybody tried at like a level 1, level to avoid people, we'd be in a better place.
Or just to do better for the surrounding people, not just yourself. That was ridiculous.
I think that's a great spot to end right there, because I think that I believe me, when I got the message from Pat last night, he was fucking pissed about the whole thing. And Matt, I can only imagine how pissed he was. We're going to hear from Pat Martin again in this next segment. And actually, last week when we recorded the show, he was like, "Oh, I just sent over this fucking Broke on the Boat for you. You can get it in between segments." I'm like, no, we're going to fucking have to do this next week. So we've been on a tear with Broke on the Boat, but Joe specifically, I'm interested on your take in here, and I've got a couple of interesting tidbits to throw out there too. So let's go ahead and take a look.
It's time to go broke on the boat. Joe and Bobby's Guide to Fishing Your Funds Away.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
That's very true. But this is the first time we've had a Broke on the Boat come through with a voicemail from the hotline. And this is pretty interesting. So let's take a listen and see what we have. Joe, I'll give you the Cliff Notes once this is done.
Hey, buddy. Pat Martin down here in Southern Rhode Island. Just calling with a little Broke on the Boat. if you saw my Instagram yesterday, Matt and I were doing a little pre-fishing for the slot tournament, and had a little issue with the foot pedal, the trolling motor. I took a picture and put it up with my post. But basically, the broke on the boat is just kind of be prepared for little things. Always have like some tools. Put together a little toolkit for your boat. For most of us jig and big heads are working on older boats or used boats or whatnot. But yeah, you know, it was just a simple short, and the foot pedal got a little smell, a little smoky. Nothing, little electrical tape couldn't patch up to get us back to shore. But that's kind of the point of it, is something happens out there. Sometimes it's, even if it's something that needs greater attention, kind of set yourself up to be able to get back off the water at least, you know. A couple screwdrivers, maybe a wrench or two, or a small socket kit, something like that, if you need to change a battery over or something. Electrical tape, definitely a plus. Maybe look into what fuses you have on the boat, have a couple extra of those, stuff like that. But yeah, just kind of do some research on your equipment, and even if you're not great with that kind of handy stuff, like, try to learn enough that if you find yourself in a situation, you can at least get yourself off the water safely. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week, and looking forward to the tournament on Saturday. Bye.
So this is an interesting broke on the boat, because it's not just about financial end of like boat ownership, but also like quite literally shit breaking on it. So essentially what he's saying is to, you know, because he had this experience with Matt where they had this problem with the trolling motor, that he was advising that it would be a great idea to put together like a small toolkit so you can handle these tasks. So you have to change out a prop or something, or you have to, like, I had a situation with all that fishing line that was wound around my fucking trolling motor, like shit like that. Those tools kind of help out. Like electrical tape can be a huge deal. This is sort of like a different broke on the boat. You know, like when shit breaks, how do you deal with it? And I think it's a great thing to talk about. There's a couple of tools that I have. Like I have a pair of vice grips that open up pretty well. I have an adjustable wrench. I have a couple of different screwdrivers specifically. And I keep one ratchet and the socket for my prop. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you keep on the boat for like when shit goes haywire?
So on the boat, it's very minimal. What I carry, kind of like the same kind of shit. That it's like screwdriver, ratchet. Shit. I got a small little like toolkit on there.
Yep.
I try to keep a bigger kit on my truck.
Yes, I'm the same way.
So I you know, I'm not going to put a big tool bag inside the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number one, it takes up room, weight distribution, all that.
For sure.
So what I have on the boat is very minimal. That could, no matter what happens, what I have can at least get me back to the ramp.
That's exactly it. I think that's really what's most important. If shit really goes down, like you get back to the ramp, and then it's like, all right, cool.
Or land. Or land. You get back to land, like depending on how bad it is.
I mean, if your tools and shit are in your truck, you really have to get back to the ramp.
Well,
but I see what you're saying.
Thank you. I have an angler aid box that I put together in my kayak. A waterproof deep box that has some tools, zip ties, plumber's putty, JBL weld.
JB Weld.
JB Weld, sorry, what am I trying to say?
We were over at the store today. We needed an adapter for the power over here where we're camping. And I noticed, I was like, they have like 3 different kinds of JB Weld here. I was like, they know that they're dealing with boaters.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not much. First aid kit is in there, a handful of tools, a good multi-tool. That type of stuff.
And let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys this.
Yeah.
Do you keep wire snips or cutters on your boat? Not like the heavy duty wire or like metal cutters. Do you guys? You guys keep that on?
Like wire stripper, like an actual pair of.
No. So essentially, what I'm getting at here. Something to cut a hook if you need to.
Yes. I do.
Let me tell you a story. So I was fishing the first time I ever had this happen. Both times I've ever had this happen, I've had a fish hook me. It's almost like redemption for them getting back at me.
And there.
And because of that, I carry barb cutters. But I actually found, and this is probably kind of like a bonus, just a tip.
Yep.
There's two different types of barb cutters. There's regular barb cutters, and then there's like spring or like compression assisted ones. And if you get ones that don't have there's like a tensioner in them, that allows you to cut bigger hooks. Because if you're cutting like a drop shot hook, it's fine. If you're trying to cut, and just to give you a perspective of the hook I put on my finger, a 4/0 EWG, a cheap pair of barb cutters are not going to cut that. So then I had to drive all the way home. So I don't know if you ever tried to take a split ring off with a fish on it.
Oh, no. I've had to.
I've had a treble
I've had to with a yellow perch in Delirious's boat. God,
so
not fun.
I actually had a bobby-sized, for this trip, kind of going back on when you guys listen to the other segment, I had a 5-inch perch or a 5-inch bass on a 1.5 square bill.
Yep.
And I had to take the freaking split ring off a 1.5 square bill. And I don't know if you've ever seen those. They're tiny.
They're fucking super tiny.
While he's swimming or trying to swim in the air,
Yeah.
hanging off my thumb.
Yep. Just flapping away.
Because I couldn't cut the barb out of my finger because the ones I had weren't like assisted ones.
Yep.
So I highly recommend if you get them, and you can get, and I'm not saying get like expensive brand, you can get them at like Tractor Supply or Harbor Freight.
Yep.
But there's actually ones that have like an actual, they will rust, I will say. But you need ones that have like some sort of like actual pressure on them because they won't cut the barb. And then you end up having to drive home with a treble hook in your hand to get it out of your hand.
Okay, I would completely disagree and say get the expensive brand.
Okay.
There is a company, they call it Knipsex, but I call it Nipex.
Yes.
They make a 7-inch bolt cutter, not a side cutter. They make a bolt cutter.
Yes, that's what you want.
Oh my lord! Like they're amazing. And even if we want to turn it into a tool podcast, there's a couple others that I could recommend.
Yep.
And some that even may fit into an EDC category. However, if for like on a boat, the 7-inch bolt cutters, everybody should have a pair.
Absolutely.
Shit.
Yeah. No, EDC is important. 100%. I agree. Having something. My dad has like a small ammo can, like a waterproof can.
Yep.
It's got some tools, got some spare things, got some all that stuff. He's had to fix many a boat, and some that weren't even his on different trips. So you never know who you're helping or what situation you're going to be in. Just having a backup, just one little wire circuit, whatever it is.
I do think, Joe, you nailed it with that. Having a, what do you call it? Having that set of cutters so that you can cut the wire of a hook is huge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
100%.
And honestly, they have to act as a line
cutters
cutter
and a
too.
roll of braid are the two things I have in my boat that I never want to have to use.
Yeah. No,
That's
for
true.
sure. The roller braid is a fucking gamble. I'm just going to tell you, it's a fucking gamble. Sometimes it does not fucking work. There are, and actually I wanted to reach out to, I think it's called D-Hooker is what it's called.
Yep, I've seen that thing.
And it's a tool that you use specifically to remove the hook out of a person.
Oh,
and it basically disengages the barb for you in one smooth motion, like you pull a trigger almost, and it disengages it and pulls the hook out. And there are videos where you can see this guy take like a jerkbait with like 2 or 3 treble hooks and double hook himself on every single hook.
Saltwater gear too, and he does it to himself.
Yes.
right?
No.
He does. It's
Oh, my
fucking,
gosh.
it's crazy, dude.
Thank you, sir, for doing that. But
Yeah, the TikToks I've seen of that were saltwater hooks. And
It's
if you haven't
insane.
seen a saltwater hook, those are legit hooks. Those are not
send me
something.
that link. Send me the Knipex. Send me the bolt cutters. Send them all to me. I need them in my life.
You hook yourself that often?
No, I'm just a hooker. Really good hooker.
Fucking A. Yes.
So while we're on this topic real quick, I'll throw another one. Bobby, you're going to appreciate this as a bigger man.
Okay.
The only time I've ever had to have a hook surgically removed, I wasn't even fishing. I sat down in my bed and my fat rolled over top of a treble hook. and I buried a size 2 treble hook into my side.
In your bed.
I was sitting on my bed, and I had a rod in my hand, and I sat down to put my shoes on, and I had a square bill on the end of it, and I sat down, and my fat roll pinched around the treble hook.
It just fucking
the hook was in me.
I'm squirming, and it didn't even happen to me.
I will give people perspective. I have never reached the 10-year window of a tetanus shot because I'm that accident prone that I've ended up getting. Oh,
wow. Okay.
I've had enough instances between cutting my finger off and getting enough hooks in me that I've never made it to the 10-year window of a tetanus shot because I've been to the hospital enough times that they're
often
like,
enough where they're like,
well, you're due at this point.
Re-up you anyway.
They call you like a flu shot. Hey, it's time for your tetanus. It's kind of
like a checkup. I'm just like, well, I'm here. It's 8 years. Might as well do it now. So I'll get another 8 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's
bring your cutters, guys.
Yeah. Cutters are good. Fucking, I don't know. This show is just insane. This
weekend has been insane, so
this weekend
makes
is insane. Guys, we have a giant pot of chili out there we have to put a dent in. Because I don't want to bring a bunch of it home. I really don't. I don't need that in my life.
Porta potties.
Joe, you're missing out on some good chili.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it, and I'm bummed. But you know what that means? We'll just have to do something up at St. Lawrence.
I think so.
Sounds good. I'm in.
I fucking think so. You got anything you want to throw in there before we wrap this sucker up?
No, man, that's it. I'm glad you guys are having a good time. I wish you had got on the fish a little bit better, but I know how you feel. That's kind of what happened to me up at the St. Lawrence last week while my kids sat there and showed me up for 3 days.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and but I hope to see a few of you guys up in New York this upcoming weekend. That would be awesome. If you could do it, that'll be great.
Hell yeah.
And that's it, man.
That's my plan anyway. I think it's going to be good. All right, cool. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to throw right now to our little segment that we just recorded earlier, kind of detailing this whole weekend in place of our interview segment. We'll see you guys in a bit. Don't go too far. We're going to wrap stuff up on the back end. Hey guys, Bobby Roast Beef here from Jigs and Bigs. You know, if there's one thing I can't stand spending money on, it's on something that's not versatile, something that I can't get a lot of use out of. I want to talk to you about Frost Buddy. What Frost Buddy is it's one of those can coolers. I've seen these before. In fact, I have some that are limited to only fitting one specific size of can, like a standard 12-ounce can. I stumbled onto Frost Buddy, and I was blown away with it. So versatile. Fits standard cans, tall cans, slim cans, and even 12-ounce bottles. And the magic is the insert fits all of these items in various stages within the insert. And when you take that out, you can fit a full 16-ounce tall boy can. In fact, it even doubles down on being versatile with the coffee lid. And on my recent trip to Chickamauga, I had a field day with this thing. I was throwing beer cans in it. I'd have coffee in the morning. On the drive, I was throwing in all different sizes of cans for different canned coffee products to keep me awake on the long drive back. The thing was amazing. So I recommend you check out Frost Buddy. If you're in the market for either a travel cup for your coffee or a can cooler at all, either one of those, check it out. For the money, you cannot go wrong. What I've done is this. In the show notes for this podcast you're listening to right now, if you look there, you'll find a link to Frost Buddy where you can get yours. And not only can you go and get your Frost Buddy there, but you can help out the show as well. Go and visit that link in the show notes to this podcast. Check out a Frost Buddy. Tons of colors, tons of patterns, all kinds of great stuff. And it's a great spot to put your Jigs and Big sticker too. Take it from me, Bobby Roast Beef. You're going to get the most versatility out of this one product, probably out of anything you're ever going to buy, especially for anything that you're drinking. Frost Buddy. It works for me. I'm a happy guy. Alrighty, guys, Bobby Roast Beef here, and you guys might be able to hear in the background a little bit of ambient noise. It's just a little pitter-patter of raindrops that are hitting the roof of Janelle's bus, because we are here on location at Rivers Crossing Campground alongside the Erie fucking canal. And we are, I'm joined this week at this location with Janelle Orsino.
Yes, sir.
Enthusiast adventurer, the one and only Mike Hansen, Binya Outdoors.
What's up, guys?
We got Nick DeShane in the house.
How's she going, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Nick Deshane, St. Nick. We've spoken a lot. Nick's been on the show before as a guest in the beef seat, but now we've relocated the beef seat so that it's the beef bus.
Sure.
Tonight it is.
Tonight it definitely
tonight
is.
It's the beef bus. So just so everybody's aware, I'm sure we've already set this up in the earlier portion of the podcast that we recorded with Joe and everything, but we're here in the bus and we're going to kind of break down our experience on this trip. And what a long, strange trip it's been, huh? Isn't that right, boys and ladies?
It's been a ride.
Right? I fixed that shit, girl.
Boys, ladies.
So, we all arrived on Friday afternoon, really, for the most part. I mean, Nick, you were the first one to arrive, right?
Yeah, but not much sooner than anyone else.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're all pretty much in the same kind of window. What we've got is 2 campsites and a cabin. A nice little cabin, too. A resilient cabin. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Because discoveries were made. And this weekend is kind of a special one. Now, Nick and I had started talking about this, putting together a little gathering, like a meetup, just a big hang. Do some fishing and find a spot that kind of worked for folks that we're friendly with. And what ended up kind of coming to be with all of this is that we had, the 2 of us, and then we threw the invite out there to a bunch of jig heads and just friends of the show and stuff, and we ended up with this little, and this is the first of what I hope to be many of these outings, because this was great. Like, no bullshit, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving it. It happened to coincide really well, and I don't know that next time we plan something like this, we might do that. It happened to coincide with the fall slot limit tournament. And that may have been a mistake, a little bit on my part.
Maybe.
I think it was definitely a lot of fun, and it gave us what I do like about that was it kind of put the fishing in a compartment for the most part. Where it was like where it kind of like mattered, where you were just like, this is the day we're all gonna fish. Whatever happens, we're kind of loose with. Now we did end up on the water every single day.
Yes.
So far, I don't know if I'm getting on the water tomorrow. I'm probably just gonna chill.
Yeah, we are.
You guys are hitting it?
We may even be
Here?
going.
No,
you're leaving?
Yeah.
I actually made a decision without Janelle being aware of it.
Oh, great.
We're going
She
to go.
loves those things.
I really do, yeah.
I can never remember which one's which, but I think it's Otisco. And I'm sure if you're from New York, butcher me on this because I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
It happens.
There's a smaller Finger Lake that has like hard bottom. That was actually, I have a little bit of a redemption for that particular lake because that's the lake that my motor messed up with the last time I was up here.
Yeah, you told me about that.
So
trip.
I only got to fish that place for like 20 minutes and then my motor was messed up, and then that was what ended my trip when I came up here.
Fuck that.
And it's it's not as big, so it'll be more manageable if the weather isn't the greatest. The only thing is I think it's like an hour from here.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it's
not a big deal.
I would rather go to a smaller body of water and not risk getting, well, we'll get into that during the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucked up. I had arrived just right after Janelle. In fact, I pulled up to the front office to check in, and the bus was in front of me. You can't miss it.
No.
So we get checked in and everything, we're getting things set up. But immediately, the plan was to pre-fish. That was my plan coming in. I was like, on Friday, I just need to get fucking eyes on this body of water so that I can figure out what works best. So that I can figure out what's going on, as far as conditions, everything else. Because the weather had me a little fucking freaked out. To be perfectly honest, I was like,
it was dicey.
Didn't look great.
And I'll tell you, I dragged the 2 of you guys out. Well, Janelle fished the tournament with me in the boat, so I was like, I'm definitely going to drag Janelle out. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll squeeze as many people on the boat as possible, and we'll go. And our mission was to go and hit the fucking main lake, Lake Cayuga. Right? Or Cayuga Lake. Is it Cayuga Lake?
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it is.
Sounded way wrong.
If you're from here, it's like Cayuga.
Yeah.
Cayuga.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Cayuga?
That's what the dude at Bass Pro said today.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm going with that because he's a local. So
And the other people that I talked to on the way, where are you fishing? Oh, you're going to Cayuga. Okay.
Yeah.
Cayuga. I'm like, all right, whatever.
kind of sounds like you're gonna like sneeze or something. Like achoo.
Cayuga. So I had looked on some topo maps, and I found some stuff that looked fucking saucy. And I'm like, I just have a strong feeling that I'm going to find fish there. And we did. We had to go through a couple of locks to get there. That was a new experience for me. I had no idea. I didn't even know how a lock fucking worked. After you two had explained it to me when we're in the boat, I was like, that's right. I've had conversations with Sean about this. And I'll bet you there's conversations about this spot. I'm pretty sure. So we head down to these juicy locations after much experimenting and bonding on the boat. I think there was a lot of bonding happening.
For sure.
It was a great time.
Yeah,
It was a
Great
good time. We Janelle, you got on fish just after, right before the second lock, right?
Right before the second lock, yeah.
She hooked into a pike, and then
A largemouth.
and then a largemouth. Not bad. And then so we started making our way down. Now, one thing that was kind of a wrench in the works was the fact that the locks close. And I thought, okay, they must close at dusk. They don't. They close at 6 p.m. So
That's a really odd time
it's a
to close.
really random ass time because, like, what if you're fishing until dusk and you have to get back? Well, now you have to adjust your plans. So, we had hit this one spot and everybody caught fish there. Everybody caught fish, and we were all throwing very, very different presentations. Like, I think, Nick, yours and mine were a similar color pattern and size.
Right.
But you had vibration and blades, as where I was throwing a fluke that was just as natural as and once I got one fish, I was like, done. Okay, I know this. They're here. If they don't get fucked up by the weather, then we're gonna be okay. They got fucked by the weather.
Yeah.
They got fucked real hard.
They
by
got
the way.
fucked real bad. So we come back, spirits were high, we were feeling good. We ordered pizza that night. What did you guys think of Pat's Pizza?
It was all right.
It was, yeah.
The pesto was the best one.
The pesto
I
one,
didn't
the
have-
pesto Alfredo
I
one.
didn't
I
have
like
was
that
pretty
Italian
good.
one or whatever that one.
I like
was
that
pretty
Italian
solid.
one too.
I didn't try that one.
I will say, I think the crust is a little like mall pizza.
Okay.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
I don't mind that though sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Like I feel like it's got its place. And let's be honest, we DoorDashed that to this remote campground. Like it was. I'm amazed that we even got pizza that night.
Right.
No, and it was enjoyable. So I almost did because I was doing the DoorDash order and I almost threw in a buffalo nonsense.
I kind of wanted you to.
I was close. I was afraid that Nick, because Nick is armed all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And I
that's
was
what
afraid
worried
he
about.
was gonna fucking shoot me and like hide my body. And my wife would be like, "Did he order that pizza? I apologize. I apologize for that."
He deserved it.
He was asking for it.
That's right.
In
Every bit
no
of it.
certain terms.
Yes, for it.
But we had a good time. A lot of campfires, a lot of bonding around the campfire, a lot of drinking. Nick brought an amazing bottle of bourbon. What is that bottle? What are we drinking here? Garrison Brothers. Small batch. And
I'm gonna have to actually try that tonight.
it's pretty fucking good. It is.
You better hurry up.
Yeah, because we're making our way.
Making a dent in that.
Making our way downtown. So we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. I was up Saturday morning, like stupid early. And you and I think, Benny, we talked about this in the morning. Like that first night of camping is always a little like, fuck. Like, you know.
It was a combination of Janelle being the only smart one that went to bed early.
Thank you.
And then drinking and just honestly, for me, it was also the anticipation of I'm a little bit more competitive than everybody else.
Yeah, you're way more into tournaments than I think any of us.
So I was kind of like, okay, I caught a few fish because for notes, just kind of going backwards a little bit, I didn't fish in the boat.
Yeah.
I ended up going in my kayak and fishing the river. My strategy was, if the weather gets real bad, being in a 10-foot kayak, I didn't want to be on a
out on an open
40,000
lake,
acre lake and hope that I'm going to be able to survive. I actually had a pretty good day. Caught, I think, 4 fish that would have counted towards the slot tournament. One that was actually over and kind of vetted the area, but I was still kind of like, I wasn't the pattern I expected.
Yep.
And it was kind of the same story. We didn't have any consistency or pattern. It was kind of rogue fish. So I went to bed kind of going, I don't know if I want to go to the Bake Lake. Do I want to stay in the river? What should I do? So then I finally fell asleep. But it was the first night of camping's always like that for me though. Like it's like your body has to go from civilization to nature or something.
Oh yeah,
but
you got to dial in, and get all situated.
I was pre-dialed because I had a day ahead of you of camping.
That's
in the
true.
woods in my
And
bus.
honestly, the other factor comes into play is I had to use the facilities, and I actually thought about this, and I wanted to say it on the podcast. I think they should be giving out T-shirts for that bathroom over there that says "I survived the river crossing bathroom."
The river crossing
kind of
shit
like you
house.
get at
One
the
out of
amusement
10.
parks because the smell in that
was
place.
terrible.
And I keep in mind, I'm a fisherman. I've been in some porta potties that have been out in the 100-degree sun for a
Holiday
weekend.
weekend. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that one takes the cake. It's definitely you actually start
That's
to like
gross.
get sick to your stomach going in
Takes
the
the
door.
cake.
It's pretty bad.
Sorry.
But
I don't use this that often, so
that was the other factor is the bathroom that's usable is a good.
It's a nice walk.
I mean, it gets the juices flowing.
And I didn't realize because you told me, you were like, oh yeah, you're like there's fucking plumbing up there if you want to take a walk. And I'm like, looks like I'm getting my steps in.
Yep.
And thank God.
Thank God I have this set up because I would have been like, first
Yeah,
of
I
all,
know.
I used it because I was like, I gotta know. Found out real quick.
Found
how
out,
bad
you
it
learned.
was.
You lived, you learned, you got loves. So, I made coffee that morning, got things together. Now, we couldn't hit the water on the East Coast, Eastern time zone, until 8 a.m. Well, we couldn't have lines in until 8 a.m. The issue, now, Janelle and I had a plan. We had found a spot. We wanted to go and hit that spot. That was the plan. Aside from that, my only plan was to be adaptable as fuck. Literally, those were my words.
Exact.
And I fucking had to be. Like, that Saturday pushed me in a lot of different directions. It was an emotional roller coaster ride. I think poor Janelle got to see sides of Bobby Roast Beef that she never hoped to see, barring a Speedo or anything like that. But, like, I think she was kind of like, is he fucking about to jump overboard? Like, he is losing his mind. And I was just,
diva.
I could not figure these fucking fish out, man.
No, I think we threw everything possible.
So we back into our plan was, the locks they're not manned until 8 a.m. So I'm like, okay, so it means we're just accepting a late start. It's our destiny. You know what I mean? Like, we can go leave, and then at 8 o'clock we could fish our way down if we want. But the idea was we found fish here. There was structure that looked as if it was going to hold fish. The fucking weather did not cooperate. In fact, when we left, it didn't seem as bad.
Right.
No, it wasn't. It was nice.
It really didn't seem as bad. And I already thought we were going to be going through it. I was like, maybe we're dodging a bullet here. This could be interesting.
Just for perspective, I got to the ramp, so I actually launched at the ramp below all the locks because I didn't want to try to go through locks in a kayak. Again, different scenario. I beat Bobby by like an hour plus.
Oh, easily.
That took them to get down there. And we're not talking, I think I measured it was like 4 miles down the river in a boat. So you're not. But
for a good chunk of that, I was doing 30.
Right.
I was flying.
And when I got there, just for perspective, I took off my 2 coats that I was planning on thinking I was going to need. I was actually hot and sweating at the beginning.
Yep.
And then it turned.
So we got to the first lock, Janelle and I. And why don't you tell I think you tell the story there about that first lock operator better. We're not going to put him in an FGG. We'll save it for this.
Wait, which one was the first one?
This was the I can only fill it as fast as I can or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that guy.
Because we had met them we saw them the day before. They knew us. We told them we were coming back. We asked what time they were going to be there. So there was a preconceived notion that okay, you're going to be there. We'll be there. Like we'll be ready to go. So I would hope you're kind of ready to go. So we pull up 10 minutes, 7:50 a.m. 10 minutes before this thing opens. Operator's doing his thing, what have you. Bobby picks up the phone around 8 o'clock to call.
Yep.
And we didn't know this at the time, but the horn went off outside. And I was like, oh, perfect, Bobby. You don't even need to call. He sees us and he's getting it going, and that buzzer is just a preparation for us to get ready.
Yep.
Come to find out, it wasn't actually a preparation buzzer or letting us know that they were getting it ready. So we're like, all right, let's just fish a little bit and we'll figure it out. So we do that. Nothing happens. We call again. And after the second ring on Bobby's phone, the buzzer went off at the exact same time. And I went, is the buzzer connected to the phone call? And it rang the third time and it buzzed again. I was like, oh my God, it is.
Yep.
And the guy answered and he was very just like, yeah, whatever. And Bobby's like, oh, we're just trying to get through.
This was about 10 after 8, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we had stopped to fish because we're like, okay, clearly he's not there.
Yep. What's crazy, too, is just so for perspective, that buzzer's not like a quiet me. I heard that at the access when I was loading my kayak into the lake.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that you should be able to know it's going off.
Yeah. So he calls back. The guy answers. He's like, oh, yeah, this is Bobby and such. We're in the Lund. We're trying to get through the lock. Oh, yeah, well, I'm doing it, but it can only fill so fast. And we were like, okay, sir. I don't know who peed in your Cheerios this morning, but we're like,
yep.
We've been here. We've been prepared. You're the same guy from yesterday. And it's just, he had a very sour taste in his mouth and was very rude.
Clearly he overslept or whatever.
I was going to say, you got to cut the guy some slack.
Yeah.
It was 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
Oh, I said that.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
His phone had already rang twice. The buzzer had already gone off twice. And like you said, we had met him the previous day, and he looked like a partier, so he's probably hungover.
Looked like a dud.
I mean, he was probably hanging out with the loud people.
Yeah.
They were at the chili cook-off.
My God.
So we leave that lock, and we start making our way down. And this is about where we start seeing other boats. We should have taken the fucking hint. So we get to the second lock, totally different experience. Yeah. Jody over at, I forget the lock number, was awesome. Mm-hmm. We got into the main lake, and same thing, the conditions like you were saying, Mike, we were like, this maybe is not going to be so bad. Like, you know, we're in the sun, and we're like, it's warm. There was some chop on the water, but it wasn't like gusting.
No, it was it was actually, in my opinion, if you're going to catch fish, especially in cold weather, it was it was a ripple. It wasn't waves, it was enough to make current happen.
Just enough to get water moving and push bait around and shit. We get to our spot. Man, we couldn't fucking buy a bite over there, dude. We could not fucking buy a bite. And then the wind is gusting, and
the boat's turning
we're just
around.
fucking bouncing all over our place. Yeah. And that's how spot lock works. You find a spot, and it's like, oh, the wind's blowing this way, and it repositions you accordingly. So, like, I'm planning for all this, and I'm throwing similar presentations, and then I'm downsizing, and I'm upsizing, and I'm getting really loud, and I'm trying to fucking be adapting to find out what they want.
Yep.
Gotta fucking find fish, though. We passed you on the way back.
Yeah, so for perspective, he's in a boat. I'm in a 10-foot kayak, and I got to the point where I got almost, I was considering hitting the main lake. Now, the other thing that is another part of the story, the shoreline I originally wanted to fish was Nam. So it's duck season. And I didn't know it was duck season. There was, I think, at least 6 duck blinds along the shoreline that I wanted to fish.
Yeah.
And when I first got there was at least 40 shots.
Yeah.
And that would have been fine, except they didn't hit one damn bird. Not one.
So you're saying they're not good at it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So then it was constant shooting, and the thing is I don't know which direction they're shooting.
Yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere near that because birdshot can come back down, and if they're not hitting the birds, then their aim isn't that good to begin with, and I'm not willing to get into, within 50 yards of somebody with a shotgun that clearly can't hit something.
Yeah.
So that eliminated literally half of that bay. So I kind of followed the middle of the channel down, and then at one point, and it's probably the same point, honestly, that you guys had the same decision, because I started to turn my kayak, and I'm turning left, and I'm pedaling for all I can, and I'm going right. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm out. So then I start beating it back to the ramp. I'm like, screw it. I'm going back to the river, my original plan. And then literally probably 10 minutes into this pedal, I hear, ooh, behind me. And I look back, and here comes the beef boat.
We're like, fuck it. Like, why? Why spend our time over there beating our fucking heads against the wall when we had found fish on structure that made sense? We're like
10
back
hours
up
earlier.
the fucking river. Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yeah. So we go back through the lock after we fished a spot that was actually recommended to us by the lock operator who was there.
A nice one.
Yeah, and he was like, make sure to hit this on the way back out because it can hold fish. I was fishing off of this, and I like I said, I was open to fucking throw the kitchen sink. And I did get one little tap on a drop shot, I think.
The white
right?
drop shot.
Yeah. But I couldn't get anything to commit at all. We go back through the lock, and I said, let's just fish our way back up. So we start going back up the river, and it was like, at this point, didn't Jody say over there, didn't he say, like, oh, well, over here it's totally calm.
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, well, calm down down here.
It's so calm. You guys will be fine. We get there, and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. This is crazy. And it was the wind would change direction. So, like, we'd lock on a spot, and everything would be cool. And I'd be like, all right, well, this looks fucking juicy. Let's fish this. And then the boat would fucking move, you know? And I'd have to fucking reposition to put things into perspective or whatever. So it was just a fucking mess. We made our way up. We fished, you know, I said, we'll head up, and then there's a corner where the river kind of turns, and I said, I'm hoping that the bank will block some of this, you know, and it did a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit it did. We got up there, and this is about where I was just like, what the actual fuck? I'm like, I can't fucking, you know, and I was, again, not like spinning out of control. I was making like planned adjustments. Yep. To what I was throwing. I'm like, okay, so let's see. Maybe we're going to throw, you know, they look like a fluke. They're not chasing, so let's go to something on the bottom, a Ned, a drop shot, something like that, a finesse jig. And it's just a fucking shit show. We go back up to that first lock, and we go through, and we fished a little bit down there. We got back into the main section over here, and that's when I finally put something in the boat. One while you were still in a boat. Comically small largemouth bass. 3 inches.
Smaller than the microphone you're holding in your hand.
Tiny. Yeah. Like a fucking finesse TRD bass. Yep. Like tiny.
It's smaller than my microphone on a cold day.
Hey.
Oh. It was brutal, man. It was fucking brutal. But I'll tell you what, that little fish fucking saved my mental fucking spiral, you know?
It really did.
I'm like, at least there's something going on. This is where we connected on the river. And then, you know, drone footage and fucking started joking around and having fun.
Diet Cokes.
Fucking Diet Cokes.
Crisp.
Fucking crisp, dude. And things kind of worked out. Shortly thereafter, Janelle had decided she was out for the day, so I had dropped her. Where did I drop you off?
You dropped me off.
What are the slips by the launch, right?
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I dropped her off. I fished for about another hour or so, and I caught one more. It was a little bit larger, a 4-inch largemouth. Wow. Amazing. I decided, I was like, you know what? I got to use the facilities. I'm fucking calling it. We're going to have fucking do burgers and dogs and hang out and whatever. Last night was one of the best hangs of all time. Like ever. Really, it was great. Last night was a blast.
What would have only made it better was if those fish that were busting had bit one of our frickin' lures on the bank.
I think that's actually one of the most important
I managed to put
details.
one on the bank.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, and I got it on camera. Thank
Yeah.
you. I forgot about that. See, that's how bad it's been.
And that's the perspective too. It's not just that we weren't catching fish. Now, mind you, I caught one and I fished the whole window. The only time I wasn't fishing is the 2 travel times to the ramp and back here to fish, because there's a ramp in the campground for perspective that we can launch from. I caught one 13.5-inch bass, and that was it. But what's frustrating is I saw 8 12-inch at least jumping within 10 yards of my kayak.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they weren't there and they were actually eating, because they were jumping.
Yeah.
They were eating bait fish off the surface. So it wasn't like it makes me feel better when I don't catch fish if there's no bait fish activity
and you don't
there's
see
nothing
it.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm literally looking at the side of a freaking bass shammooing out of the water like Free Willy style,
looking at you,
at me, winking as it dumps back in the water. And then I throw in a bait behind it, in front of it, around it, nothing. And then repeat that process 6 more times.
Like, I caught that first fish on Friday on a fluke.
Yep.
Like, that was a calculated decision to throw that presentation. They wouldn't touch that. They wouldn't touch it across the top of the surface. I tried earlier on the river, like when we were first going down on Friday, and we saw these bait fish, these shad, busting all over the place. I threw that super small, I think it's from Dockmaster Baits, that plopper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nothing. And maybe I should have fucking thrown like a small spook or something like that to try to get.
I will say right now,
well, you mixed it up too, though,
I don't
right?
want to say, like, I'm not trying to, like, be elitist or anything, but, like, as the actual tournament angler that does, like, live tournaments more, I have 5 3,700 boxes of baits.
Yeah.
Most of them got wet during that tournament.
That's what I was saying.
Just for perspective.
You fucking mixed it up, too.
I threw square bills, swim jigs, chatterbaits of 4 different colors. I threw topwater.
Yeah.
I threw literally, if you name a bait category, I probably threw something in that category.
Yeah, I agree.
And I caught one fish on a wacky rig.
Well,
and that's the one bait I would have not thrown in 54-degree water with wind and rain. That's the one bait I normally wouldn't necessarily go to because it's the one that usually doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting bite because I didn't realize I had a fish.
All the fish, other than that first fish on a fluke, it was all BFS.
Yep. The ones I caught the day before were plastic.
Ultra tiny. Because we fished on the bank.
Yeah.
And I caught one on that same fucking bait. And then so last night was a late night.
It was also downsized too. So the ironic part is the most successful bait I had on Friday was a bait that Fish or Die sent me with my order, and it was a smaller craw.
Yeah.
It's I don't remember what they call that smaller craw that they have, but they have like a name for it. But that was the only bait that I caught more than one fish on the whole weekend. But it was a smaller craw. It was so small I actually had to use a smaller hook to Texas rig it. Because like a 4/0 hook was too big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And granted, I know like this time of year sometimes downsizing works, but
for sure, dude.
There was nothing. The book was gone, and then it was complete junk fishing. There was no strategy. It was just you were catching rogue fish.
And I'll be honest, that junk fishing is a lot of fall fishing.
Yeah.
Because they'll key on it in on something so specific that like you've just got to keep digging around and experimenting and figuring out what they're going to bite. The tournament was wild. And we already covered some of that in the beginning of the podcast. The tournament itself was wild. I talked with Nelson DaCosta, and he was like, dude, everybody that's in the Northeast fucking struggled. Yep. So many anglers put in one fish. So many of them put in one fucking fish.
It wasn't just the tournament, too. So I'm in a group chat with, I think there's 10 or 12 other tournament anglers in that group chat. And every one of them, and they were fishing lakes in Vermont, upstate New York.
Yep.
One was in New Hampshire. And everybody, when I got off the water, I looked at that group chat, and it had blown up.
Yeah.
Every one of them was bitching and complaining about the fact that they hadn't caught fish. So this was like a Northeast global bad day.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, we were
up.
just having a bad day in this one region.
And there was I remember looking at the forecast and being like, what the fuck does that line mean? Like the pressure was just like it was fucking spirograph. It was ridiculous. And I kind of expected it, I was like, that was exactly it. I'm like, I just got to fucking keep going. But it's like,
but not to not even pick up junk.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we didn't even catch bait fish. Like we didn't even catch bycatch. Like there was literally no
I matched
bites.
the color that he was throwing, and it was like, all right, slow roll. Like we were all. It was nothing.
Yeah,
I've made so many casts where it's like, oh, this is getting bit, and it's like, huh? Wait, what? Excuse me? What? Like, what's going on? What's happening?
If anybody
had actually
you're like, what the
heard me
hell?
on the water, they probably would have sent a mental health expert.
Oh yeah,
because I was literally running down the bank and I would cast, and it was the same thing. Nick was explaining this, and he was saying, like there's a weird instinctual feeling where you're like, oh man, I hit the exact spot where there should be a fish there.
Yeah. There's
definitely a fish there. And you almost get like anticipatory, like you're ready to set that hook. You're already anticipating the bite. And then I would literally be like, this is bullshit. And then the next cast that would happen, I'm like, what in the fucking hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then it was this constant, like, I did that probably, I actually had literally a boat come behind me, had no idea they were there. And they kind of cruised up behind me, and I think they were fishing the same, like, style we were. And, like, they kind of, like, I watched as they went by me because I was like, this is fucking bullshit. And then, like, this fucking boat, like, stared at me on the way by. I think they thought I was mad at them for coming behind me. But it was just, I've never been more frustrated than that. And it wasn't, again, it just made no sense. You couldn't catch bycatch. You couldn't, there was no bites even.
You were fucked.
It was completely, and that's why I definitely say if we do this again, we probably shouldn't do it on a tournament weekend.
I think you nailed it. I think that's the move right there. Let's not do it in a spot where there's any kind of money on the line or anything. I mean, the idea of there being a bunch of people fishing all over the country and like, you know, while we're doing this as a trip, I think is really cool. But I think next time we do this, we'll just pick a weekend.
Sounds good.
Whatever. If there will be a scavenger hunt going on. If you want to fuck around with that, sweet. Otherwise,
and honestly, to be completely frank, like this is the first fishing weekend that I've ever gone on where fishing was like a bonus. It was really about the hang for me.
I agree.
For sure.
Like it was the excitement of being able to get together. Like me and Janelle have talked a lot, but via Instagram or via phone call.
Yep.
And I realized this, we haven't hung out since that failed event at Somerset.
No. Champlain.
Oh, Champlain.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
Champlain.
so yes.
Yeah.
But still, like, normally by now we have at least 5
2 or 3,
sends in.
exactly, a handful of fucking sends.
And it's not for lack of trying. It was always like something came
didn't
up
fucking work out. Yeah, no, it makes sense. That definitely makes sense, man. We'll do this again. Now, I'm interested, Janelle, in your take on this because this is like that first leg of outings with the bus.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people here. Everybody here was like, I can't wait to see this bus and actually check it out.
It's freaking cool.
It's fucking sweet.
Did she tell you what I told her she needs to do? She needs to get a sign on the front of her door that says $5 tours.
I already gave 2.
Because she's already given tours to like locals that were like wanted to check this out. Like it's become an attraction.
The amount of looks that I'm like, hey.
When I organize that Riggs and Coffee, you should take the bus up.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, duh.
Yeah, I think it'd be fucking awesome.
Why wouldn't I?
Fucking donuts, fucking coffee, bunch
Johnny
of fucking
Donuts.
Riggs, everybody hanging out. So yeah, tell us your experience. What was it all about for you? Like what
This trip?
Did you take? Yeah, all of it.
I agree with Mike in that I knew the fishing would be a bonus. Like, I was excited to get together with you, Bobby, because we've camped before, so I knew that vibe was going to be good. I was very excited to meet Mike because, like you said, we talk a lot, but we haven't actually gotten together. And me and Nick are, like, best friends now, so it was like...
I knew that was happening.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Like, about 5 seconds into the trip, everybody kind of blended very well, and it was all, like... just a great kinship and a good just overall vibe. So I was pretty relaxed with that. And then getting the bus out there and finally like doing it and like having the wood stove and having the power and just like being in my own little element, but being with you guys and being able to travel, like it is amazing. This trip has been absolutely like fantastic. Aside from the fishing, but I'd prepared myself for that.
You didn't have expectations.
I had no. I don't fish in the fall. I hunt in the fall. So this was more about camping and then hanging out with you on the boat. And if we caught fish, it was a bonus. And I entered the tournament mostly as a donation for the cause.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody did, really. You know, I think 100%. That's really what it was. It was just like, hey, let's do this.
So not that I guess it's like, you know, hindsight, but I had already told Janelle if I won, I was just going to donate the prize money back into the cause. I think that was my intention. I wasn't really caring about taking home money. It was.
I don't want to put that out there, but that is amazing. Not necessary, but amazing.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants to do that. Janelle, could you give me another splash of bourbon in here?
Absolutely.
Nick, What do you think? What's your whole take on all this?
It was a great time.
Yeah,
I would do it again or something very similar.
Oh,
again.
for sure. Yeah.
Like you said, I think it needs to become an annual thing or a couple times a year, right?
Yeah.
Just to get a group of people together and, we had great food and great times. It's beautiful country up here, right? And
oh, absolutely, it is. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It was amazing.
And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think doing this once a year or twice a year, we know collectively. I mean, just the folks that we know. The four of us in our individual circles, like that we put together. If every single one of us were to commit to doing this again for the next outing, whenever it is, what would 6 months from now would be like April, something like that.
I'm down.
We do something
I'm
like
always
that.
down, though.
Spring snakes.
To be honest, to be fair,
My back. There we go.
to be fair
Yep.
on this,
Calm
when
down.
Bobby says like we came together, I kind of just invited myself on this. I pretty much, I was listening to the podcast and Bobby's like, I think we're going to do like a send. And I'm like, I immediately texted Bobby before the podcast was even over. And I was like, dude, let me know when I'm going.
Sorry.
I immediately invited myself. But I think that, to be fair, for the first dry run of this, and I was talking to Bobby about like possibly expanding this in the future.
Yeah.
The personalities of everybody was
That's
a good
key.
blend.
Yep,
Because
it's key.
Like Janelle was saying, it wasn't, there's always that awkward moment. Like I knew Bobby and I talked to Janelle, didn't really know Nick that much other than like pretty much chatting in the Jigs and Bigs, like,
The live chat
stuff like that. But the thing is, if anybody from the outside would have just assumed that we'd known each other for 20 years and we were meeting up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no like weird, awkward getting to know each other stage. We just immediately started hanging out like we all had known each other for a long time.
Yeah. I got to know Nick very quickly.
She fed me her meat real early in the trip.
It was amazing. And let's talk about Janelle's
right
meat.
into my mouth.
Yeah.
Janelle.
I haven't tried Janelle's
I was
meat
just going to
yet.
say
I
it's in
should-
that cabinet above your head.
Oh, I might have to eat some meat.
Or is it right here?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that the spicy one?
Well,
oh, no,
while
yeah,
she talks
that's
about it,
teriyaki.
I'm going to eat some meat.
That's your deer from last year, right?
2 seasons ago. Yeah.
From 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, last year I got married.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so 2 seasons ago, she had.
You were listening to the sounds of Janelle's meat.
I know. Well, she had hit me up and said, "Hey, you want spicy or teriyaki?" I was like, "You can go spicy teriyaki. I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, right?
And this jerky is absolutely out of this world. It is actually what sustained me on Saturday.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
Jerky, coffee, and Diet Coke.
That's correct.
I wonder why I'm such a fucking mess in life.
You're like the John Daly of fishing.
I really am.
Just minus the smokes.
Yeah. I really am. Wow.
To be honest.
That's so accurate, Nick.
So that's the
Fuck.
second comparison of the weekend. And if you guys don't know who the Duluth Trading Co. is, I want you to
Oh
look
my
it up.
God. Yes.
Yes.
Because
You're welcome, Bobby.
is the mascot. So Duluth Trading Co. Contact Jigs and Bigs because
Please.
I think I got your new mascot.
I think there's a fucking opportunity here for a brand new partner. Duluth.
I do.
Absolutely.
I like their products.
Just saying.
And they like your body type.
I'd say who doesn't, but a lot of people don't, including my spouse. Yeah. Let's I kind of like, let's brainstorm a little bit about like what is a spot where you guys would like to go for the next trip. I mean, I know you already mentioned doing a snakehead send.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like a good one.
Yeah.
A good one. And now that Nick wants one, I'm like, oh, I got to get Nick one.
Honestly, I'm down with. I have never caught one, so I would be down with a snakehead send for sure.
Like we could just. It's as simple as just going to Jersey.
I know. I don't
You know what I
have
mean?
to do much.
It is. She doesn't have to do squat. But would it be better to go to Florida?
Oh. I think we'd be
Florida.
distracted by all of the...
Florida?
Yeah. It's a lot of possibilities. All the species, all the...
I'm just saying we could do it in February.
Oh, my mind went somewhere else.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry. Where you going? I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
There's plenty to get distracted with down in Florida.
Okay.
But no, Florida, South Florida especially it's another world. Like you're saying, the invasive species that are there, you can be like down West Palm Beach area.
Yep.
You know, you can be fishing pelagic species just a handful of miles, like offshore. I'm not overly familiar, but it's quite close, right? You can catch, you know, your PB largemouth peacock in the same lake, and then the very next day or the very same afternoon be out catching, you know,
reds in the flats or something.
Crazy stuff, Goliaths,
in the marsh.
like.
And the thing is, it's crazy. Is like my buddy Bear Fishing goes down there, and he just does it from the bank too. Like,
right.
you can really catch peacocks and everything right from the bank. You don't need to even. Now, I will say, if we're gonna do that trip, I'm probably just gonna fly down there and like rent a boat or something when I get there.
That would be one hell of a way to do it.
Because driving, to be honest, the cost of gas to go from Vermont to Florida with my kayak trailer, I'd probably save money renting a boat for the weekend. It'd be almost probably comparable for driving down and back, because I burn a tank of gas getting here.
Well, would we rent a plate, like a Airbnb type cabin place for all of us?
For that, we would have to do that.
Or would we all be at the same like hotel, motel?
It would depend. Like it would depend. I think the idea of camping is fucking great. And if I'm gonna camp in Florida, I want it to be February.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I'm down.
I don't want to go in like August and camp.
No.
I'm not good with the heat, so it's like it's a good chance.
But we could do a Jersey or a Virginia or something.
Yeah,
Snakehead Send and fucking find a spot to camp and find, you know, just do a state park or something like that.
I'm fine with that too. Yeah,
that would be pretty fucking easy. I kind of like, for myself, I'd like to do a day send and go for reds.
Okay. Well, now you're back in Florida.
Well, Florida, Louisiana, like the Gulf area, just in general.
Yeah,
you know,
Louisiana would be a great trip.
Yeah,
but like that would be.
I'm gonna need a loan.
That'd be a tough one, I think. To pull off.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go to Louisiana, I'm gonna need a loan.
That's what I'm saying. It would be.
Well, actually, you know what?
It's a 2-year plan.
I have connections. I could probably actually. Yeah. I have friends in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is only an hour drive from.
For me, the biggest challenge is being able to plan it to the point where I can take the time off needed for that level of trip. Like, I don't want to do a trip to like Texas or Louisiana for like 2 nights.
No, you want to do that.
You know what I mean? Especially if I'm driving and hauling my boat and stuff like that, which I want to do.
Easy.
That's a week minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, realistically, like 5 nights is understandable.
To be honest, if we're going to Louisiana, I'm going to need at least 2 nights to recover from hangovers and food. Because if I go to Louisiana, I'm going to eat some food.
And I think we should also incorporate this. I think even if it is a small group like us, we should all fucking grab a friend to bring down. And every time it should be somebody new.
I'm down.
To introduce them to this whole fucking thing. Because, like, one of the things, so we made the, you know, when we had a list of folks initially, Nick and I, of people that, you know, a lot of the group from the Columbus show and other content creators that we're close with and we're friendly with. And either like schedule wise or just like timing, it didn't work out for them. So we opened it up to the jig heads, which is fucking great. It worked out perfectly. But I had actually suggested to some friends of mine. Now, this is one of the guys that I travel with a lot, who just wasn't available to do something like this.
Right.
Another guy that I fish with who I think is kind of fucking getting into this. I think he is. Dude, if I brought him down here, fucking, it would have changed his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The camping part or the fishing part?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
All of it would have changed his fucking life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been such a big recharge, you know, for myself, and I'm sure you guys can relate. You know?
Oh, I'm already. Yeah, we're doing another one of these. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would like to keep this group together, and like you said, bring some extra people for sure. But
yeah,
I was talking with Bobby about it. Like, I really want to try to. My goal has always been, anyways, as a content creator, to try to create like a content creator kind of summit. But I also want to keep it small because I don't necessarily want like 100 people there because it's going to be too much to manage.
Yep.
But that's the one thing I will say is, like, when you get together as a content creator, when you get together with people who understand content creation, it makes it more fun. So for those of you who probably are going to watch my channel at some point, there's 7 memory cards of video right now.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are 300 meg cards. Or 300 gig cards. So, like, people, like, for example, I want to tell a story about Janelle. I was heading out to fish the tournament.
Oh.
And I was recording.
Like, which Jesus story? Lord, no.
Yeah.
Not that one.
So I'm recording just the standard, put it on your dash, I'm leaving the ramp, B-roll. And I look to my right, and Janelle's walking with her camera, talking to it, heading towards the lake. So then I start following her just to be funny. She looks back, and then we're filming each other. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, when you have a like-minded group, like, I pointed to my camera, and she immediately picked her camera up and started filming me driving by. And that's the kind of stuff that you don't get with someone who doesn't do content. And I will say, when you fish with people who don't do content, sometimes they get annoyed with the fact that I'm stopping to record the geese or the tree line before I continue to fish. So it's fun to get together with people who have the same mentality.
Yeah, they get it. And, you know, also, there's a lot that you can learn.
Yep.
You know, when you create whatever your platform is for content, when you're out there and you're recording and you're capturing stuff, you learn shit. Like, just the 3 of us, we do things very different from one
Absolutely.
another.
Oh, yeah.
We totally do.
For
you know?
sure.
Yep.
And that diversity of content and that diversity of, like, method is fucking magical. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I hope that you guys get some inspiration from me, and I sure as shit have gotten inspiration from both of you guys, you know?
Oh, thanks.
It's changed a lot. Like, a lot of the collaborations I've done with other people have changed. Like, literally, this entire weekend is going to be a video series. I used to just do, hey, everybody, I'm fishing. Hey, everybody, I'm fishing day 2. Now it's like, hey, everybody, I'm literally recording this right now.
Yeah.
Like, I've changed my mentality. And the other thing is, like, Bobby has this tendency, and you have to understand when you're fishing with Bobby, and people have asked me, like, when I meet up with people that know Bobby, like, Bobby goes into those Instagram posts that you see, those are unwarned.
Oh,
that's just
nobody
him.
Gets a
They're just
warning.
random.
Nobody gets a warning.
So, like, you'll be fishing with Bobby, and then you'll hear, okay, guys, we're out here. And you're like, what? And then you're like, oh, shit, sorry. Because he just, like, flips into, I need to make a reel mode, and then back to normal. And, when you're with people who understand content, I then start recording something to give him, you know, footage. I actually created a drive for everybody so we can share stuff so we can get different angles and everything. But, like, that's something that when I fish with people, like when I fish with my parents, they get so confused because I'm like, hey guys, okay, so I'm working a chatterbait through the column and I'm doing this because of this barometric pressure. And my parents are just staring at me like, why the hell is he talking to himself? And then, like, whereas everybody else, like, they not only stop talking to allow the content to happen, but then they start recording another angle so that they can send you the footage. And that's what's cool about the whole thing.
You just reminded me of a fucking a time where I was out with Adam Blomeke, right? Adam and I are out on the water, and I'm making content, and Adam's just like, what the fuck? Like, this one I catch a fish, I release, I'm like, here we are, we're on him, man. I'm here with this legend, and he's like, maybe a legend of my own mind or something like that. Like, he's so self-deprecating and just so, like, genuine. Like, with Adam, like, Adam is what he is on camera and on the show. Exactly what he is in real life, like almost to a fault. Like, he is so genuine. And I'm like the back and forth. And then there was one point where I check in with him, and he used a phrase that fucking cracked me up. I was like, we're over here. I got this smallie off this dock. I can't believe it. It's so fucking weird. How you doing, Adam? He turns around. He's like, hey, I'm styling and profiling, man. What can I say? I'm like, fucking A, dude. Oh, man.
The only fish that Bobby caught on tournament day, I was retying in the back of the boat, and I hear, hey, God, da, 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 and I caught a fish, and I'm turning, I'm like, you caught a fish? And you can hear me, because I didn't know he was recording. I didn't even know he had one. Yeah. He pulled his phone out before telling his teammate, me, that he actually had one. Sorry. Just my alarm, sorry. We don't have the rights to that.
And at that moment,
the fucking dance. You guys can't see this. Y'all will see the fucking dance on Binya's channel. The dance was amazing.
I would hope that I'm also the same as I am on camera than that I am in real life.
You really are. You really are.
I don't control it.
It's true. It's true.
I don't control it.
That's the thing, though. I think that's the best part about this group, though, is like I didn't have to like That's the one thing I think about content creators that I have fished with, that there is some that are like, when they shut off that camera, they're a different person.
Yeah.
This group, it's like, the only thing, to be honest, the only thing I'm different about is that, and anybody that's hung out with me will understand that if I actually talked the way I normally talk, my videos would sound like Morse code.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be beep, 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 because I swear, I use swears like punctuation,
And
so I have to check that, but other than that, it's everything else.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I was just going to say, I wish Becca had worked out, had been able to be here, because she would have loved this.
Yep.
The fishing would have driven her fucking crazy. I honestly think she would have been driving back home on Saturday with the way that it
drove me crazy, but
we were all in it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were all in it together. None of us you put one fish on the board. I caught fucking 2 that didn't fucking meet the minimum.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, combined,
I caught my fish day 1. I caught a pike. The pike was nice. That was the nice first hit on the new rod Mike gave me. So that's why when we caught fish on the spot, Bobby wanted to go to, and he was like, "All right, we caught one. Let's go." I said, I said, I was like, no.
Right.
Because we don't know what the next couple of days are like. And if that didn't happen, I would caught one fish.
Yeah.
And then you would have called it, and that would have been it for the next 4 days.
And for perspective, it wasn't just bad fishing, if you guys can hear.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
just shit conditions.
It was windy. It was cold, and on top of it, the fish. It's one thing if it's nasty weather and you're catching fish. I'm willing to accept the conditions.
Yeah. I'll take it.
And today was another example.
And that's why we turned around. It's not like the boat couldn't handle that chop.
Yeah.
We turned around because we're just like, is fucking dealing with this worth it? I'm like, I can't find the fish. I'm like, we're covering so much fucking area. Where did they go?
Yeah, it's fall in the Northeast. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's frost on my tent tomorrow morning. Like, it's not warm out here, guys.
No.
Yeah, it's in the 40s all day today. Tomorrow, actually, most of the week, I think it's going to be about in this window.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is going to be a rough week for Western New York.
Yeah.
But, dude, this bourbon is so good.
It's not bad.
The cigars Nick brought were delicious.
I got to tell you, the thing is with Nick is, like, he is a gentleman's gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Like, he fucking rolls into a party and is like, let's talk about fucking Canada for a second. Like,
oh, you should have brought the freaking ketchup chips.
The ketchup chips.
I'm ready to murder the whole bag.
Yeah, you guys
we weren't allowed to eat
Canadian
crunchy foods.
buffet.
We weren't allowed to eat crunchy foods on the podcast. That's Poppy's fault.
But the fucking, what is it, Nanaimo bar?
Nanaimo bars.
Nanaimo.
Those are
like
good.
Nanaimo,
Holy
BC.
fucking shit.
I do have those over there.
Dude, yes, I'm telling you. Like, I didn't eat a lot of food, but what I ate was absolutely not good for me at all. I haven't been going hungry. I've been eating one meal a day, but that meal's been fucking terrible.
Yeah, Nick brought the Canadian buffet, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The only healthy thing you ate was the jerky. Lean, just...
Which was very good, by the way.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. While we're talking about food right here, we have a 4-quart cast iron and enamel fucking Dutch oven just bubbling away with one of the most amazing batches of chili I feel like I've ever put together.
It smelled so good across the entire campsite.
Yeah.
Half of these bastards cleared out.
Yeah.
And they had a chili cook-off here yesterday.
Yep.
You actually picked a really good night for chili because I'm probably going to Dutch oven my tent, but that's going to keep me
That's
warm
what I'm saying. Keep things nice and fucking toasty. I've been
I'm
really
going to be buying some
You're not sleeping in here.
You're going to gas the tent.
Yeah.
Every morning this weekend, I've gotten up expecting crazy condensation, snoring and shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's been good the whole time. Tomorrow's going to be different. It is going to be a gross condensation. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be.
Yeah.
You have to scrape the slime
Be
off
a little
those
wet
windows.
tomorrow morning, Bobby.
It really is. If you're gonna back my trailer down to the fucking ramp tomorrow,
oh God,
I will Febreze that fucking truck inside and out. I am so sorry, Janelle.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Sounds good.
Oh, this is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. I'm having a great time. I'm glad you guys are having a great time. You know what we should do? We should, do you guys actually, you know what, before we fucking wrap this up, right, let's go around and you guys share where people can check out the content from this trip, from all that kind of stuff, everything. Promote yourselves a little bit.
All right, I'm going first.
Go for it. Yeah, ladies
you can
first.
Find me. Thank you so much. You can find me at Enthusiast Adventure over on YouTube and Instagram, but the content for this trip will be on YouTube. If you want to watch bus life videos, traveling, camping, fishing, hunting, bushcraft, all that stuff, that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. Binya?
We're going to let Nick do this one.
All right.
I'm at South Detroit Fishing on Instagram. I'll put my shenanigans up there, get some behind the scenes on
fucking
real life Bobby.
Oh, yeah. God, watch out.
I love
I'm
real
going to
life
get canceled.
So, actually, it's funny that you say real life Bobby, because I actually went to a tournament in New Hampshire. And I was literally asked. Actually, Cheryl Bentley was there.
Oh, Cheryl's great.
And
I love Cheryl.
I had like 3 people walk up to me and go, "Is Bobby Roast Beef the same as he is on the podcast?" And I'm like, "He's literally the same as he is on the podcast in person."
Yeah. Sometimes he's worse.
A little spicier.
Sometimes he is worse. Sometimes he is a little spicier.
Especially if he doesn't catch any fish in a tournament. But
holy shit!
I had to check him a few times.
Fucking child. Is what
Oh God! I was like, why is he so butthurt right now? But I get it because I was like, oh, the fishing is a bonus. I caught my fish yesterday. If I didn't catch the fish I caught on day one, I would have been very upset.
That's my first New York fish.
Yeah,
I
me
will
too.
say,
Me
and
too.
like, again, the listeners have already heard this. My experience in this tournament was exactly as I called it. It couldn't have gotten worse. I didn't lose a rod.
Yep.
I didn't
hook
damage
you.
my truck. We got no hooks, you know?
Yeah.
And I will say, I was watching Janelle cast, and I'm surprised Bobby didn't get any hooks. But just saying,
Them damn bait casters.
I was
man.
watching some casts, and there was some zingers, and I'm sure Bobby kept like swatting like there was bees behind him, but I think it was just the swim jig going by his head.
You threw a spoon at one point, right?
We did.
I heard that motherfucker jingle like $1.85 in loose change by my head.
Exactly.
It went by, and I was like, "What the?" Like, I felt the air just kiss my ear as it went by.
That's what I said. Is I like men to be afraid when I'm around them.
But yeah, getting
Mission
back,
accomplished.
I completely
Mission
derailed
accomplished.
this. But basically, as you guys know, I've injected myself into Bobby's podcast a lot. But I'm Binya Outdoors on just about every social media platform you can possibly find. And this is actually going to be a multiple part series, and that's actually kind of bringing it back. This was the first of hopefully many of these, but I'm showing because the fishing was so awful.
Oh yeah,
it's my first foray into like a travel vlog because I've never really done that. It's normally like this weekend 2 years ago on my channel, this wouldn't have turned into anything. I would have gone home with no footage.
Yep.
You guys are going to see multiple episodes. I'm going to break it out. It's going to be multiple days, and we're going to have a ton of different content. And I'm probably going to, help Janelle with some of her stuff, and we're going to make sure that we all have videos. So there's going to be a bunch of different perspectives of this weekend.
Yeah.
So check out everybody's because
sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like Bobby
yeah.
was saying, everybody has a different style.
Yeah.
So you're going to get an entirely different perspective on this trip from everybody's content. So
yeah, put some stuff, check it out, and do yourself a favor, guys. Go and follow all of these platforms that Nick and Binya and Janelle, they're all putting content out there for you guys. Go ahead and make sure to subscribe and follow them on their platforms. You won't be sorry. It's very, very entertaining stuff. If nothing else, you will be highly entertained. All right, so I'm going to break the fourth wall here and say this. Let's go ahead and wrap this segment up, and then we'll go ahead and actually record the first and second episode with Joe when we dial him in. And then we're going to stuff our faces with some chili.
Absolutely.
And cornbread.
I fucking love it. Chili, cornbread, fucking, it's going to be great. We'll see you guys. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up after this. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Jigs and Bigs put together under many different influences tonight. And I want to thank you guys for listening and checking out the show. As always, remember to follow all of our socials, whether it be the Jigs and Bigs YouTube channel or the American Vet Fishing YouTube channel. Dial into that stuff. We're also, of course, on Instagram and on TikTok and stuff. Some of those more platforms we're more, I guess, busy on than others, but join us and make sure to be following us. This has been an amazing trip, and there's going to be much, much more to come. I want to say thank you to my counterparts that are here up in the Western New York region, up at Cayuga, and Janelle, Binya, Nick. Thank you so much, guys, for making this such an amazing weekend. You guys are the greatest, and I appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you. I had an amazing time.
It's fucking awesome. Be nice if those fucking fish had cooperated. Should also give a little bit of a shout out and a thank you to Dark Horse Tackle. Have you ever wanted to match the hatch but show them something different? Fuck it. Do both. Go over to Dark Horse Tackle and get yourself rigged up with some baits that allow you to, do exactly that. Play the fucking game on both sides.
I'll tell you, I've been eyeing up some of the things that Nick's been wearing this week, and I might have to go over there and get myself some things from Dark Horse. Nick, huh? I've been eyeing up Nick this whole weekend. Anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
We can let you fondle my bag of worms and
fucking hell,
see what you want to take home with you.
Oh, wow. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking, I feel
ladies, I am available. Oh, for fuck's sake, end it before we get much worse.
Hang on.
Love. Exciting and new.
Well, there goes the monetization for that fucking episode, but Jesus Christ. Hey, Joe, you got anything you want to throw out to the listeners? Anything that you want to stroke a little bit?
Your worms, maybe?
Wow, I'm kind of glad I'm out there now.
What happens in the bus stays in the bus.
So just kidding. I still wish I was there. Anyway, no, man, that's it. Yeah, like Bobby said, go check out our socials, American Vet Fishing, Jigs and Bigs. Everyone else is out there, Binya's, Nick. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are having a blast. Go wrap this shit up and go eat some chili.
Yeah, we're going to fucking choke down 4.5 quarts of chili between 4 people. God damn, it's going to be a fragrant night here at the Finger Lakes area. We're going to try and do this custom as we throw out. We know that our listeners and our followers are some of the most amazing folks that are out there. We appreciate what you're doing. Remember to keep tagging us in your fish pics so that we can show you a little bit of love with it. Liking, sharing, and saving those photos to help work the algorithms to get them seen as much as possible. Like we like to wrap this show up quite often. Like we always say, let's do this together in 3, 2,
tits in ass, soak some grass.
Folks, we're back. This is a very impregnated fucking Easter egg, really. There's a lot here that we neglected to go over because there was alcohol involved. Let's go ahead and start off by saying, first off, that fucking chili was unbelievable. That cornbread was unbelievable.
Goodness. 5 stars, yes.
Fucking hell. You hear that? But we're not done with the meal.
No.
It's important to finish the right way.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that's good deserves full completion. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's just the way it is. And I forget how long ago it was, but Binya had shared I think it was a short actually on YouTube, where he fishes with Bear quite often in the tournaments and stuff. And you gave him something that was interesting, and just your wording was amazing. And I just felt like it was right for me to also give you a cream pie. And actually, if you could, please give that one to Nick.
Oh.
Now, Nick, you have been cream pied by Vinya. By Vinya.
I'll get my own.
I wondered why they made me lock the door. Now I get it.
Now you get it, right? Absolutely.
I'll get my own.
You want...
you put it on the table and I'll get it.
She says, no, you don't want to get cream pie?
Not buying.
You just want to pick up a residual cream pie?
Thank you.
Is that what's going on?
Yes, sir.
I got a whole ass box of cream pies here. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, which... I think it was Nick. I talked to somebody. It must have been you, Nick. And you were like, it is like the pinnacle of American fucking...
It is Americana as it comes for me.
It totally is. Cheers, it totally is.
Cheers, bud.
Fucking A, man.
Oh, Bob.
I'm going to have to cream pie myself.
Well,
okay.
you can cheers us with the plastic gun.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, put your rubber
I'm
on.
wearing a fucking condom, you know what I mean?
We're raw dogging it.
So, Janelle, when you built this bus, did you really think it would start out with 4 cream pies?
One after the other.
I'm curious. Was that your motivation for building this bus?
No,
or?
Big fan of the Finger Lakes.
They're all getting kicked out of here as soon as we're done recording.
I'm never going to be allowed back in fucking New York again.
Probably not.
Delicious. Cream pie for the win.
Oatmeal cream pie.
Have you never had a cream pie before?
Oh, fuck. I've had many a cream pie.
Oh, fuck. I've had many a cream pie.
I'm concerned. That's why I was wondering.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have the da-doomch, but...
No. I was a little slow to get to the button. Pun intended, but...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, fuck. I've had many a cream pie.
Gentlemen, it has been a trip for sure.
They make a double cream pie? Were you aware of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's out of this world.
I'm still a zebra cake girl.
That's a Detroit thing.
Give me a little Debbie zebra cake.
A zebra cake or a double cream pie?
Oh my gosh.
They grow them bigger.
Oh my gosh.
It's that third cookie in the middle. So,
that is awesome.
We didn't just come on here to like fucking force feed ourselves snack cakes.
No.
There was a couple of things that we neglected, and I think the biggest one, probably the most life-threatening, we got to let Nick just carry this story.
So, I don't even know where to start. The cottage is someone unfortunately located adjacent to the washrooms.
The shitters.
Mm-hmm. Which, throughout the weekend, have been described to me as fucking abominable.
Yeah, the one.
Like,
on any scale.
Binya almost blew his groceries walking in there. So it was rough, right? And the cottage had developed an odor. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just unfortunate,
proximity.
I'm
downwind,
across the street from the washrooms. There's no need to start. You don't have to call up front. You don't need to lodge a complaint. Just deal with it. You've certainly slept in worse conditions, Nick. And this goes on. The first night, my carbon monoxide detector goes off 3 times.
And he was like, shut up.
So each time I get up and unplug it, and then plug it back in, it's good. So I go back to bed, it goes off again, I unplug it, whatever. Finally, I leave it unplugged. Whatever. Now, the smell was significantly worse in the kitchen.
Okay,
right?
That would have been your sign right there, bud.
And then you go to figure, I don't typically sleep all that well. Last night, for whatever reason, I slept fucking
amazing.
10 hours straight, perfectly fine. And I'm like, wow, this is this is abnormal. This New York fresh air is fucking great. Right? No. Come to find out, the goddamn fucking gas stove has been on since God knows whenever, since before we checked in, I'm assuming. And I've essentially almost gassed myself out. Thank fucking Christ I did not light up a fucking cigar in that cottage, because I'd have blown up half of the campground, would have been up in flames. Cayuga round 2, it would have been like a crater hole here.
Yeah.
Come back in 2 years because there'll be fish.
Oh my goodness. I took a shower in the cabin, and I was like, oh, it has that like propane-y smell. I didn't know if it was like the water heater or the water itself, depending on where it came from.
Like, Nick is fucking a stinky dude.
I was just like, or did Nick use the bathroom? And I was like, good for him.
Maybe he's got problems.
I just brushed it off. I didn't say anything about it because I'm like, he probably
bowel
knows,
syndrome.
and I don't want to be a baby about it. So I wanted to go lay down anyway. This was tournament day. I got off the water 2 hours earlier than Bobby did because I was just like, I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm not catching fish. I want to go get a shower and take a little nap skis before everybody gets back.
But like, I wouldn't have mustard gassed you before I knew you were getting into the shower. Like that should have been some like number one
to me, like,
red
that's,
flag.
Propane is just a smell like the sulfur in water and certain things. So
Very
like it's just
familiar
something
now.
that's normal at campgrounds. So I was just like, oh, this is just extra smelly in this very small bathroom.
It's extra fucking fancy. That's what it is.
Extra sloppy.
That's a public service announcement. Trust your carbon monoxide detector.
Well, and what's funny about that?
Well, 3 times. It went off 3 fucking times.
My also like half still drunk and half my like half still drunk and half still high like dumbass was thinking like, I don't know, like, is it the carbon monoxide detector that's wrong, or like I don't know, maybe just like
dude, this must be defective.
Let's light my lighter and see.
At least take his face off that grill, right? I like the way it smells. Smells good.
But it's like, I don't know, spark my lighter up, see if it's full of gas. Like that's also not the way to check it there, dumbass Nick.
Light a candle, let's see what happens.
Blowing myself up in my goddamn underwear at 2 o'clock in the morning at a campsite.
Your Duluth code.
Yeah, so there I was. There's your tip of the week next week. Check your monoxide detector.
Please. Well, it was like Bobby was driving the boat, and I was just kind of pointing things out while he's driving because I'm used to doing that with my dad. Like, there's something floating there, or like, watch, there's grass there, so it might be shallow. And he's like, yeah, got it. So after like the third thing I said, I just shut up because I was like, all right, Janelle, you're being like a nag.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same day. So I got off the water, was getting a shower, was like, do I say something about the smell? Do I not? It's normal. I don't know. Bobby's been yelling at me all day, so I guess I'll just shut the fuck up and go lay down on the bus.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah. Whatever happens to Nick happens. It won't be on my conscience.
And you're like shorter than me too, so you would have been in the gas wave. Like at least I had a chance to float above it every once in a while.
Maybe that's why my nap was so successful.
That's why you walked out of the cabin and passed out on the lawn for 3 hours. Woke up with a headache.
To Nick's defense, the bathroom just behind his camp was so strong that you could smell it from almost our fucking site, which was 4 sites down.
We're quite a ways away, and
so it probably almost overpowered the smell of it initially, anyways.
The ladies' room, the stall, you can't really call it a stall.
You can't really call them ladies either.
Those are some impressive
the area next to me that was an old stall was basically just like they just put a piece of wood over it and just like moved the
I'm not even
stalls
sure it's not
one
just a
stall
fucking
over to the
hole in the
left
ground.
as if like that one was filled. We're just gonna cover that kind of. Make it dark in there, make everything else white so you can't see that, and then there's your hole. It was bad. I've never used the worst facility.
I will
I've
say
used porta potties.
I have survived, and I did poop in there earlier when you guys went fishing.
Very proud of you, I guess, for that.
Well, so here's a funny thing.
Good job.
And this is the part that kind of adds to the story. The inside of the door is sticky, and it's very disturbing.
At night, that's got to be the worst.
Dude, I didn't. So I was. I got in there and I was like, okay, so it was so fucking cold that the smell had dissipated a little bit. I think the poop was frozen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I need to do this and I want to go fishing, so I'm gonna risk it. and I pulled my fucking gaiter over my face and like fogged myself.
I had to do that with my hoodie. I had to literally put it over my mouth and nose so that I wasn't inhaling.
And then I sat down on the seat and I shut the door. And keep in mind, this is a weirder situation because your feet are completely exposed under this door.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if people walked by, you wouldn't have to check to see if someone's in there because their feet are sticking out
my
from under
kneecaps
the
were
door.
the only thing that was covered by the door when it was closed.
But the the flip latch thing, the little pin thing that closes
the cheap-ass
was
gate latch.
stuck to the fucking wood. So when I went to go lock the door, my hand stuck to the board and then stuck to the lock. And then I shut it. And then I'm like, I don't really feel safe right now.
I think tomorrow
I'm an adult.
I'm going to go in there tomorrow and I'm going to film it so that people can actually see what it's like.
I think you should film it and then you should submit it to the Jigs and Big Spooky Stories because that's a really good idea. Place I've had.
Damn, boy, he's thick. That's a thick ass boy. Damn.
Oh yeah, it was probably the worst place I've ever had to go to the bathroom, and I've gone.
So
in the middle of nowhere.
I used to stay at a campground for softball tournaments. That was a legit outhouse, like a fucking hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wooden building built over a hole in the ground. And that smelled better than this one, which actually has the fucking Camp Blue Water shit in it. Yeah. Like, if you actually look in the hole... Yeah, I investigated this when I went in there.
You investigated the hole?
I actually looked in the hole, and you could see the blue, like, camp water in there. So it's got the actual, like, toilet chem treatment in there, and it still smells that bad.
Jesus
it's impressive,
Christ.
Whatever's
It's
in
impressive
that.
how bad it is.
Yeah.
I've used compost toilets that was leaking urine. In a tiny house in Vermont in the middle of nowhere. It was an Airbnb. That was more pleasant than the toilet here, and it was actively leaking pee.
You guys are about to see that fucking chili again. If you keep it up.
Okay, one more story then.
I got the mouth sweats.
Last night.
Oh my god!
The first night we
have
were
a pie.
Have a cream pie.
Cram it down with another pie.
Got some
First
Pepto
night
in
we
the
were
back.
here, I had to go, and I walked in there at 4:00 in the morning. Didn't even get through the door and went, and then walked 15 minutes clenching my cheeks because it was better than trying to endure that smell. Like, I was literally pretty sure I was going to have to leave my underwear halfway to the bathroom because I was going to fill them, and I was still willing to make that gamble.
Make the fucking gamble to get there?
The smell was that bad.
That's not the first time Binya's been naked at a campsite.
No, not at all.
Scooting across the sites like...
That'll be for...
A bucket, a bag, and a little bit of campfire ash would have been a much better solution than those facilities. Any day of the week.
A tightly wound coil in the middle of the field over there would have been a better fucking solution.
The side of Bobby's boat into the lake.
Let's not get crazy.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So help me God, there's a present in my fucking live well, Binya.
I mean...
You'll never know who it was. Oh my gosh. Bring the hockey traditions back.
With a note on it that said chili was great, thanks.
I'll plant a little toothpick Canadian flag in
it. Nick was here.
I'm sorry.
With love from Canada.
Put that in your poutine and smoke it, you know?
Tabernacle.
Oh, gosh.
Do you pronounce it poutine or Putin?
It's poutine.
See? Okay. Bear corrected me. I get corrected on this shit all the time from Canadians.
Poutine.
Oh, really? I thought it was poutine.
Quebec.
I know it's Quebec.
Bobby says it wrong.
He says Quebec.
He says Quebec.
Yeah.
It's Quebec.
I only know it's Quebec because I watched Chrome from Van City Van Life. And he lives in Canada, and he made a video like all about it. Like, he lives in a van. He owns a new company called Van Toys, which is all about overlanding gear. So he's pretty awesome. You guys should check him out. But yeah, that's how I know. Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Was there another topic we needed to conversate over?
Oh yeah, the power.
The power. Oh. Fuck the goddamn power. Oh my God.
I'm real glad we did half of that podcast in the dark.
My bad.
So let me paint the picture. Now, you guys listening to the show, hopefully you've made it this far in the show. The outro's already fucking played.
If you
guys
have,
are
thank
here.
You poor bastards.
This is like, and kudos to you for sticking around. Let's be honest, it's a fucking big ask for you guys to stick around this far. But midway through the show, you heard a moment where like everything went to chaos because we thought there was a power outage. And thankfully, because I'm running my laptop and I'm powering my podcast recorder off of the laptop, I had battery power. Nothing ever happened with this, so we were good to go. But then a little revelation of sorts came about. After we had wrapped the show and went back outside, Binya and I decided we were going to go to either side of the campsite and take a leak in the woods. And then, like Binya does, he tells a lot of stories at interesting times. Like when you're holding your dick in the woods, taking a piss, he's telling you about the fucking path he traversed earlier when he went to go take a leak. And what was that? What did we discover, Mike? What did we discover?
Yeah, I'll go back to the story. So I left during so first of all, I kind of gave a nonverbal sign that I'm going to go to the bathroom because we've been drinking.
We've been
all
drinking,
night.
yeah.
And so I went outside and I tripped like 4 times. And I thought it was over the guidelines to the different canopies and tents and different apparatuses that we have set up for camping. And then I came back and the camper was dark and everybody was like, jeez, looking around trying to figure out. And I was like, what happened? Well, then we were trying to troubleshoot this. And I heard Janelle talking about she's not really sure why the power didn't come back on. And I was like, well, maybe it's the breaker inside this box right here that we're plugged into. So I flipped the breaker and then realized the plug's not in the box.
I know what's wrong with it.
I was
ain't got no gas in it.
Exactly.
No gas in
There was
it.
literally like, if there had been a light bulb above my head, it would have been less obvious. And I was like, hey, Bobby. And keep in mind, Bobby's still standing there with dick in hand. And I'm like, Bobby, I figured out that one of the guidelines I tripped on was not a guideline. It was the power cable.
Now, there are 2 sound effects I would love to play in reaction to that, but I'm torn. One of them is this.
You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. You ruined it.
The other one is this.
Using crack and cocaine. That's what you say.
You're gonna get rumors started, Bobby.
Oh, fuck. I've had many a cream pie.
My goodness.
I am. I think they both work.
The funny thing is, and I'm not even under any influence right now, the 3 of us...
You're under our influence.
I am.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's
Nick,
not good.
Bobby, and I were in here, and, well... Did you think that Binya was in here when the power went out too? Or
I did too.
No, I did. You did. Did you?
I don't know what's
Okay,
I don't know what's
we're all
happened the last
slightly
fucking
delirious.
7 hours of my life.
I thought there was the
come
4
on.
of us in here, and then power went out. And then after all this shit, no, Mike was like, no, I had just come back inside. And I was like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what's happening.
It was chaos.
I literally came back and was like, why is it so dark in here?
We had cold cornbread
tripped over the power.
because
you
of
guys
you.
want to change up the vibe a little bit? Like now it's all like Halloween seance-y.
They were like,
my fucking headlamp and the glow of my monitor.
Get the Ouija board.
These gentlemen were like, oh my God, it's so much nicer in here. I like it dark, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? It was great. I was mad. I was like, why hasn't the campground got their power back fucking on? It's been a while.
The thing that really got us fucking... the best line of the whole fucking experience is we go walking outside to get some food. We go walking outside and like I think Janelle pointed out, she's like, well, how do they have power? And I was like... It must be that power is like running from the trailer.
Nick goes,
like,
it's half
it's
and half.
off-grid.
That's
it's
amazing.
half and half.
I'm sitting here trying to be like a technician. Like maybe it's your breaker in your system, or maybe the breaker tripped in the thing. And then literally, there was a moment. You guys got to understand. There was a moment where I had to make a mental judgment because
We all became journeyman electricians.
I flipped the breaker, shut the door, opened the door, and went, fuck, do I tell them that it was me? Because I'm like, This is totally fucking me.
Do I fucking tell
He had.
Or do I just plug it back in and pretend like, oh guys, look, the power's back?
Oh, look, finally. Because I would have
It's
said
about
something.
time, National Grid.
I would have said something to the owner tomorrow. Been like, what about that power outage?
Your bathroom smell like shit, and the power is intermediate like fucking Cuba. Fuck! What kind of North Korean power plant you got going on here?
It's probably a good thing you turned off the gas, because the spark that let off when I fucking unplugged that cable would have lifted his whole face up.
Clark Griswold moment when he's losing
Oh my
his shit in the front
God.
yard, takes his 2 plugs, and is like, ah!
The propane tank outside that cottage is probably 5 feet tall and 3 feet in diameter. And I guarantee if there's a big gust of wind, it's rolling away tonight. Bitch is empty. Fucking, it blew away in the wind.
They probably just filled that. They're like, yeah, it's getting cold. People want to do a lot of cooking indoors. And they'll be like, fuck, didn't we just fill that last week?
That fucking Canadian can't handle the cold. It must have been 120 degrees in here all night.
Boiling fucking cast iron pots of water to stay warm tonight.
Was he drinking out the lake? Oh shit.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
If you
great
wanted
trip.
to know what this weekend has been like, it's been this for 3 straight days.
If there is a real tip to be given to anybody, it's that you fucking listeners need to think about planning your own adventures with amazing folks. Like if you have a shared interest, whether it's fishing a specific type of body of water or if it's just camping or whatever, get together with these folks and go out and have yourselves a fucking good time, because these memories are priceless.
Yeah.
100% priceless. Cannot put a price tag on them. And every fucking day is precious. Take advantage of it and fucking go and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Tits ass.
Hallelujah. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
And on that note, let's wrap this sucker up.
Let's go
Officially?
drink.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I think y'all can get out. No, I'm just kidding.
Get out of my
We got
Bedtime.
cigars, we got bourbon, we got beers. Let's finish it.
No, this cigar's for me.
That's fine.
I claimed it.
I'm
Fucking
gonna
CAO. You want to sponsor somebody?
You-
Fucking-
Oh, honestly,
Sponsor
we
Enthusiast
could talk.
Adventure.
That's right.
This is a lovely cigar. If you can't tell by the rasp in my voice
The
from the cigar
rasp.
yesterday.
The rasp.
The rasp.
2 years from now, Janelle's channel. Welcome. Welcome to Enthusiast Adventure. Today we're driving the bus to the fucking tobacco farm.
I've been smoking cigars since I was 20.
Hey, what's up?
If I had advice for you, don't
New
smoke.
Jersey's favorite Connecticut rap fucking adventure enthusiast. Come on, get on the bus.
Get on the bus.
Here we go again.
I've never been invited and kicked off a bus more times in my life.
I gotta say though, this is a completely average size bus.
I was just going to make a short bus joke.
That's right.
It's the perfect size in
This
my
thing
mind.
could have held at least 2 more rows of seating than my bus ever could. So
We all definitely rode the short bus. Or we were supposed to. We fucking were dumb enough that we didn't get on it.
I do like that you still have the light indicator.
I love-
from the
I-
original.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
The original number's on there. You just can't see it. It's under the blackout curtain.
And I also love that your fucking speakers are holding up your partition.
The blackout
The magnets,
curtain.
yeah.
It hasn't. That blackout curtain came from the stupid fucking Van Hunks kayak that Eco Fishing sent me. Do not ever get a kayak from Eco Fishing.
You guys remember that?
Tell you that right now. That was me.
That was her, yeah.
And so I just had it lying around, so it just worked perfectly. But I'll get an actual blackout curtain and have a setup for it.
It does the job. It
does.
I do like the fucking speakers up against the fucking frame of the bus holding the fucking. Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Those
right
are
there.
the original bus speakers. They're terrible.
Of course they are.
I need some
When
better
was the
jams.
last time you were on a bus and were like, God, this fucking sound system
Speakers kick.
bumping?
That's what you need.
Fucking radical.
I don't remember listening to the speakers while I was licking the glass. So
There you go. Exactly. little ditty. Stop. About Jack and Diane.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely gonna wait like a few videos, and then I'm gonna put little ditty in your fucking comments.
I'm gonna beat your ass,
motherfuckers.
I will beat you.
I fucking hate you guys.
I fucking hate you guys.
You guys are the worst. You do this to me every time.
And then, you know what's eventually going to happen? She's going to be doing a fucking podcast at some point, and it's going to be like, so let me tell you a story.
So turns out I had an exhaust leak. Fucked up my lungs.
I totally thought that we're fucking awful human beings.
We're at that point of the trip where
I'll Venmo you $100 a week to call my buddy Paul and go, hey Paul. And that's a fucking inside
I would
joke.
do it.
Yeah, he used to date a fucking crackhead that did that shit.
It's not inside anymore.
Not inside
I was
anymore.
gonna say that's fucking outside.
This cutting room floor is going to be fucking outrageous.
Oh god.
My goodness.
This is why you stick around for the end of the episode.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to this back. I'm going to be peeing myself in the driver's seat wherever I'm driving
I literally
next.
said to Bobby at the end of the podcast, I was on this episode, the entire episode, and I'm probably going to listen to this whole episode just because.
It's just fucking brilliant, man. It is brilliant. I'm so glad we remembered to talk about the propane and the fucking power.
I'm so thankful to be alive. I thought it looked wavy in there. I thought it was just my sea legs.
You go into the fucking...
Dude, I thought it was the chop on the boat all day.
Call it a night, and you're like...
It puts so much fucking perspective, too, because I remember waking up and Bobby going, Nick doesn't... He said he never fucking sleeps in.
Oh.
He's like, why the fuck isn't Nick over?
I texted you like 2 or 3 times. Like when I first got up and I was making coffee.
Coffee's ready. Yeah. 3 hours later, here I come.
I'm like, fucking breakfast is ready, dude. Come on by.
Bobby literally left the campsite going, I'm going to go do a well check on Nick because I'm kind of concerned. Apparently he had carbon monoxide poisoning. We didn't know it at the time. But...
Everybody's telling me that I need a carbon monoxide detector. Nick ignored his 3 fucking times.
Of all the camping situations that we thought were going to be unsafe, we've got an open fire in a bus, a guy sleeping in his car that turns it on and runs for 45 minutes to heat it up, a guy sleeping in his tent, but the guy in the fucking hand-built cottage
I know, the guy
is the one that's in danger.
The most fucking risk of his life.
The most established structure in the whole fucking group was the one that was going to die.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine?
And like, it was hissing.
It was hissing?
It wasn't even like silent.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
It was on high. It was
I had
on
several
high.
warnings.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Like, I'm dumb.
The thing is, too, is this is morbid as fuck, but can you imagine us having to explain how we killed the foreigner in the fucking cabin?
Does
like
that
the
make
3
us like a
Americans
terrorist
and there's a dead
organization?
Canadian in a fucking cabin, and we have to explain that it was a gas leak?
It was a fucking
They're not
ponytail
gonna
hate
believe
crime.
our fucking group.
So the 3 of you chose to sleep outside. You're telling me you guys slept outside under a piece of plastic, and this guy blew himself up in his cottage. Yep.
Yes, officer.
Seems legit.
God.
Fucking Canadians.
Oh my god.
He kept complaining about our description of his bacon, and he just went up. I don't know.
Wow.
That was amazing.
I'm very grateful to have you guys as my friends.
Oh.
On a very serious note, though.
My chest hurts.
I haven't laughed this hard in a very long time.
Oh my god. I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I hope you guys fucking...
Check your fucking carbon monoxide detector.
There's your tip.
You know what? I just did the math right now.
Fucking press that test button.
Nick and I were having
Sure beeps.
Nick and I were having a conversation about how impressed we are with this bus. And the construction, the layout, the planning, everything that went into it. We were like having this genuine conversation about it. And then Nick says, he goes, man, but that girl's got to get a carbon monoxide detector. Meanwhile, the whole fucking house is filling with gas. And he's like, you can't trust this shit. Just take the batteries out.
Cottage fucking people buying cheap ass detectors.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And the owners of the fucking campground would be like, it's a party campground. What do you want, man? This guy knew how to fucking party.
I'm not gonna lie, that was the first fucking thing I was told when I got here too.
It's like, we kind of like to party. You know, like to blow up the fucking cottage.
Well, you know the thing I didn't tell you.
Use a Reno.
So I got here second after Nick, and I didn't know if he checked in like our site or just the cottage. And I went in and I was like, I just want to make sure we're checked in for the Jigs and Bigs event. And he literally, the thing is I just fucking registered, my ADHD just kicked in. He literally looked at me and he goes, yeah, we're a party campground. And he fucking itched his nose.
Oh my god.
And that just fucking registered in my brain just now. He's like, yeah, we're kind of
Wish you'd have told me that 2 days ago.
Yeah, we're kind of a party campground. Yeah.
The cocaine.
He's like, and I just fixed that stove in that cottage. So
yeah, you fixed it
He
already.
fixed it real good. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Easy there, tuna.
Easy there, tuna. Oh my good Jesus Christ! All right,
Don't ignore the signs, ladies and gentlemen.
let's go and let's go drink the rest of our stock and inventory of fucking liquor and other
Root beer?
delicious things.
Okay.
And we will see you guys on the flippity flop. All right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Bye.